And welcome back to the Kingdom in Seattle. The Tennessee Oilers will kick off to start the game as you look at Mora's matchup.
We've got some good ones today. Warren Moon's going to have a good day against that Oilers secondary that's been playing poorly. Benny Blaines will come up around the line of scrimmage to help stop Eddie George. And Mark Stepnowski, the all-pro center, is going to have to block Sally Amu and Adams so they can get that running game going.
And here's Del Greco into the ball, and we're underway. As coming under it now is Steve Broussard, a very quick running back from Washington State, a former #1 draft choice of Atlanta, who runs it back to close to the 29-yard line. So the Seahawks, with Warren Moon at quarterback, will start with good field position to open the game. There is the offensive line, the high rookie draft choice, Walter Jones from Florida State, back in at left tackle. He was out last week with an injury. Good offensive line. Lamar Smith starts today for the injured Chris Warren. Smith is averaging 5.4 yards a rush and is the leading rusher on the Seattle team with 250 yards so far this year. Pritchard, a good wide receiver, playing with a banged-up knee, but they still think his deep speed can possibly catch the Oilers. On first down, Warren Moon goes right to the pass, as expected, and right to the completion, as McKnight comes down with the ball. James McKnight with the reception and is good for a first down. Jackson was on the coverage and not very good. As we look at the Tennessee front four, which has had so many problems sacking the quarterback, of that group, only Roberson has a sack. A lot of people think it's the lack, Jim, of a big pass rush that's caused the secondary to give up so many yards.
That's probably the case. They just haven't been getting a very good rush. They played the run pretty good, but they don't rush the passer very well.
And on the first play of the game, Warren Moon gets a first down throw out to the 42-yard line. 13-yard gain. Moon throws again. This time the defense comes right in. Darrell Lewis comes in on James McKnight. Timed it perfectly as the ball arrived. So did Lewis to knock it free.
Well, you're seeing what Seattle is doing right here. They've got to come out and they've got to spread out that Oiler defense with 3 wide receivers and throw the football. They've also got to come up with some big plays today. The Oilers gamble on defense. The Seahawks have to take advantage of this and get some big chunks with their passing game.
Warren Moon was there very open with us, Jim, when we talked to him yesterday. He thinks he can beat the Oilers with the deep ball. And right now he's taking a look at it. Firing long ball downfield. McKnight's after the ball and just overshot. McKnight turns back at the official looking for an interference call, but there was none as Darrell Lewis coverage was clean. But there he is up top right early, Jim.
Well, one thing Warren's going to do, he's going to go downfield. That's for sure, and he's doing it here early in the game, trying to hit McKnight. He hit McKnight last week for a touchdown pass, a long touchdown pass against the Chiefs, and he's going that way again today early in the football game.
Yeah, McKnight burned Darryl Carter of the Chiefs for a 41-yard scoring pass last week from Warren Moon. Moon comes into the game completing 57% of his passes for the Seahawks. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He has a 76 quarterback rating. John Freeze was the starter here. He's out for probably 2 or 3 more weeks after fracturing his thumb in the opener against the Jets. Here's the throw, and beautifully done to Mike Pritchard coming off the right flank. And Warren Moon, as the other quarterbacks before him have done, eats up the Oilers early with the pass.
Mike Pritchard right there is going to run a little curl route just to get the first down. That's all he wants to do, is get about 10-15 yards to get the first down. That's what he does. Good throw by Moon.
It really was a good throw and a 15-yard gain as he kept the ball low, where the only guy that could get to it was Pritchard, who just made his 23rd catch of the year. At 22 coming in. And they are spreading that defense, Jim, as they've come out in a 3 wide receiver set, 1 running back for Seattle. Moon now goes to the run. Not a whole lot going on for Lamar Smith, as Tennessee shuts down the run for a gain of maybe a yard. The middle linebacker, Barry Wortham, number 52, is the first guy to hit him.
Well, the Oiler defense is very, very difficult to run against. They play a lot of 8-man front. They bring their safety Bishop up around the line of scrimmage, and you're just not going to run on these guys consistently. You've got to try it once in a while to keep them off balance, but you can't do it on a consistent basis.
The Seahawks right now moving the ball on the opening drive, and Warren Moon has been throwing primarily. Here's another throw, another catch, as the Tennessee defense, Jim Moore, is way back in zone coverage. They're giving them a ton of room underneath.
Well, one of the things that Greg Williams, their coordinator, told us yesterday was they had to play more zone. They felt like they've been playing a lot of man-to-man up to this point. putting a lot of pressure on their defensive corners and giving up some big plays, so they were going to go into this game and play more zone.
There's a 4-yard gain on that last pass, Bay, as you look at Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee. It is 3rd down and 5. Moon with a 3 wide receiver set. Richard's been a good possession receiver for that. They go to the run, and there's nothing happening as the Oilers come up and shut it down. So Tennessee gets a Pro Bowl play from its Pro Bowl strong safety, Blaine Bishop. Maybe the best safety in the NFL at stopping the run. He plays like a linebacker, even though he's not big.
Right, he does play like a linebacker, and he's got secondary athletic ability, but linebacker intensity and toughness.
Now Rick Tootin comes in the game. He'll punt the ball for Seattle as the Seahawks drive stalls. And back deep now is Mel Gray. Mel's playing a little nicked also as a high punt by Tootin. Mel Gray coming up on it. Signals for and makes the fair catch at the Tennessee 13-yard line. Oilers on offense, and we come back to Seattle.
Let's go back to the situation of Prohibition. Prohibition was an extremely difficult period for the Bush family. That period almost broke the company. Grandfather had a couple of choices. So he went into the yeast business, he went into the soft drink business, he went into the making of carriages, he went into the making of cabinets. When Prohibition finally came to an end, my father wanted to do something for his father. He did so by presenting him with an 8-horse hitch, the Clydesdales. The Clydesdales were taken down Pennsylvania Avenue, where the first case of beer was delivered to then-President Roosevelt. The Clydesdales today are a symbol of that quality, of that tradition, of that excellence that is the hallmark of Budweiser, that is the hallmark of Anheuser-Busch.
A lot of industry experts told us that the passenger side was the best place to add a 3rd door. We got still more advice insisting that the driver's side was the only logical choice. But as you can see, we let it all go right in one ear and out the other. Introducing the new Dodge Ram Quad Cab. The rules have changed.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By the new Dodge, it's about change. By Oracle, the company that's enabling the information age through network computing. And by Travelers Insurance, we give you something to hold on to.
Back in beautiful Seattle, Don Criqui with Jim Mora. Jim, you coached here both with the University of Washington and with the Seahawks some years ago. Beautiful town.
Oh, it's a beautiful town. Had a shot of that ferry going by right there. That's very, very pretty.
And let's see if this back-to-basics offense of the Tennessee Oilers gets cooking early. Here's the pitch. And running hard is Rodney Thomas, and he is out across the 15. Now, we were told yesterday that Eddie George pulled an abdominal muscle this week in practice, and he was really hurting Thursday, and he's not in the starting lineup. There's the starting offensive line for the Oilers. Stepnoski has been to the Pro Bowl 5 times at center. Bruce Matthews has been there 8 times. He was questionable up until game time, but he is starting. A record setter for career starts for the Oilers. They list Eddie George as their starter, but Eddie George is now in the backfield. Yeah, it was Eddie George is ready to go. And Eddie George, who comes in averaging 4.9 yards a rush, is now going to see a penalty marker fired in before the snap of the ball. We might have had an illegal motion as Dick Hantak is our referee.
Encroachment, defense, number 97 prior to the snap. 5 yards, still second down.
Dan Saliamua, number 97, got into the neutral area a bit early for the Seahawks. Their defense has given up a lot of yards, Jim, but as their defense coordinator McMackin tells us, we've only given up 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. That's the bottom line, and playing good defense.
The bottom line is points allowed. They've given up 2 touchdowns, like you say, but no touchdowns passing, so they feel comfortable with that.
There's a guy they'd like to have in their defense on the sideline, Cortez Kennedy, out with a strained knee for a 2nd straight week. Eddie George runs again, and George runs it to the 25-yard line on 2nd and short. And he has a first down for Tennessee. As we look at the ticker, Miami rallying and winning. Green Bay stays in the race with Tampa Bay in the NFC Central. Jacksonville with an important win, beating Cincinnati to go 4-1. And how about that for an upset? The Giants beat the Cowboys.
That's a major upset right there.
Look at this wildness at Baltimore. Philadelphia prevailing over the Redskins, and Buffalo came from behind to win at home. As the handoff now goes to Eddie George, and Big Eddie is out close to the 36-yard line. His close friend, Sean Springs, who played with him at Ohio State. In fact, they're going to buy a house together in Columbus, Ohio in the offseason, where they both spend time working out, as do all the Ohio State players in the NFL. Sean Springs made the tackle.
Eddie George had some conversation with Springs earlier in the season. He says, when we play you guys, I'm going to run right over you right there. But Sean Springs is a physical corner, a tough corner against the run, and he did a good job.
First down. Now a play taken, a nice throw by McNair as he triggers it hard to Chris Sanders. And Sanders is out close to the 48-yard line for another Oiler first down. So the Tennessee offense looking sharp here early.
Well, one of the things that they needed to do other than run the football was use play passes, and that's what he's doing right there. He fakes to the running back and hits Sanders on a quick slant route. The Seahawks last week against the Chiefs had a very difficult time playing the play pass because their linebackers would bite on the run fake, and they just did it again right there.
Now Eddie George, who started the game as a player in motion when they went to Thomas on the first run, is the setback, and they fake pitch, and now they come inside on a counter to Ronnie Harmon, and Harmon breaks it. And so the Oilers, going deep into their bag of tricks on offense, have a good-looking opening drive after the Seahawks stalled on their opening drive.
Well, they're going to give the ball to Ronnie Harmon here on a little counter play. There's Harmon right there, and they're going to fake the run to your right side and give it back to him on an inside play, pulling the guard, trapping the defensive end. Nice bit of running there by Harmon. Les Steckel said they were going to come up with some gadget plays against the Seahawks this week, and that was one of them right there.
Ronnie Harmon, in his 12th year from Iowa, a former #1 pick of the Bills, is nearing 600 career receptions. Here's a handoff, and the power run is to Big Eddie George, the guy who got the ball 35 times in the opening game against the Oakland Raiders and gained a 216 yards in that overtime win at Memphis.
Yeah, we did that game, Don, as you recall, and it was down there in that heat and humidity in Memphis, and they wore that Raider defense out. And they're going to try to do the same thing today. That's been their best offensive game, their only win. They're going to come back to that and do the same thing today, or try to do the same thing today against the Seahawks.
Well, as you told the offensive coordinator last night, Les Steckel, it's not hot and humid here in Seattle. He said we still think we can wear Seattle down in the fourth quarter, or by the fourth quarter. McNair eludes the rush. He is a slippery one. And now he lost the ball away and not wanting to risk the interception as the coverage was good by Seattle. He throws it in the direction of Chris Sanders, but it's incomplete.
They're going to come off the either side here with outside linebackers. Chad Brown there, Winston Moss the other side, putting pressure on McNair. Now, Greg McMacken, the defensive coordinator, told us today that they were going to blitz a little bit more than they have in the first few games. They felt like they had to put some pressure on McNair. He's an inexperienced quarterback. Give him some problems.
McNair comes in, completing 54% of his throws, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Here's a 3rd down and 5 play. 5-step drop. He takes a look, throws hard, and makes the completion as he gets the ball downfield to Willie Davis, who turns it to the 20-yard line, and it's a first down for Tennessee.
This is a good throw here by McNair. I think it's really important that McNair have some success early throwing the football. He hasn't done a real good job the last couple of weeks throwing the ball. There's been some problems with the receivers not running the right route, making some mental errors. And if he can have some success early, it'll open up that run game.
Well, they had success there on a 3rd and 5 play. He just gunned it 14 yards for a first down. Let's see if they go to Big Eddie George. They do. Here comes Eddie running wide left. This is where he got so many yards in that back-to-basics style they used to beat the Raiders. This time the Big Eddie is cut down at about the 19-yard line. In on the play to make the tackle for Seattle was Benny Blades, a strong safety who plays like a linebacker.
Well, they're going to have to get Benny Blades up around the line of scrimmage. Normally, they play him back in a 3-deep zone or a 2-deep zone. Against the Oilers today, they got to get him up around the line of scrimmage as a run defender, and they did it that time.
Blades is a fiery player, came in here from Detroit. He says he gets after everybody if he doesn't think they're playing up to the levels he expects, and he expects them to get after him if they don't think he's delivering the goods. But right now, McNair on the Oilers offense has been moving nicely as we have a timeout.
Dodge Ram gives you the most powerful overall line of pickup engines on the planet, including 2 even more powerful V8s, the most powerful diesel, and the only V10. You'll be glad to know we also worked on this, making it easy to answer the oft-asked question, wow, what have you got under there? Dodge Ram. The rules have changed.
It's in all of us, the basic human instinct to protect the lives we build. From our beginnings as the very first insurer of automobiles, to our wide-ranging protection options for homeowners, Travelers has answered this basic need. What we all want is what Travelers Property Casualty provides. Something to hold on to.
There's no question that computers open up entirely new worlds. But what about children who live in a world that can't afford personal computers? Fortunately, as of today, we'll never have to ask that question again. Network computers allow everyone to join the information age. And we'd like to say, welcome, Oracle, enabling the information age.
All right, Artie, you going out for this one?
Look, let's go. Let's do it.
Blue!
Hut, hut.
I'm open!
This is the NFL on NBC.
Don, you were talking about Benny Blades being a vocal player. He's not afraid to get in his teammates' ears, and one of the guys that he harps on a lot is Sam Adams, number 98 there, the defensive tackle for the Seahawks. He says he's in Sam's ear all the time saying, hustle every play, do your job the way it's supposed to be done. He's not afraid to get after his teammates.
Now, Sam's a guy who is a #1 pick out of Texas A&M who can be great in one play, then he disappears for the next few. As McNair takes a look to the end zone, he goes, and Sanders can't get to the ball. McNair, in the teeth of an all-out rush from Seattle, put the ball up and almost in the hands of his wide receiver Sanders, running an out pattern in the end zone. Willie Williams was trying his best to cover, but Sanders, who's so fast, had a step on him.
You know, continuing on about Blades, he also said that his brother Brian Blades, who's a wide receiver for the Seahawks, is on in his ear all the time, on and off the field, telling him what he should be doing and shouldn't be doing.
Well, Brian is Benny's older brother. Benny right now is living at Brian's house, so he said it never lets up. I get it at home and here.
That's right.
Third down. Here's a blitz. McNair stands in, makes the throw, and there's a drop. Willie Davis couldn't hold on at the 18-yard line. Jeremy Lincoln was covering on the play. And now Al Del Greco comes out to try a field goal. Al is 9 of 12 this year, one of the NFL's very best. But he's still bothered by that miss in Miami in Game 2 that would have given the Oilers a victory.
They blitzed Tim Hawk off the corner that time. McMacken said they were going to blitz more. They hardly ever blitz, but they blitzed 2 or 3 times already in this series.
We'd like to welcome all of you who've been watching the Steelers and the Ravens, as right now Al Del Greco kicks a field goal straight down the middle. And the Tennessee Oilers, troubled by a 3-game losing streak, are on the board first here in Seattle. They'll kick off when we come back.
When we spread the wheels out a bit, moved the windshield forward a tad, lowered the step-up height a skosh, and widened the aisle a smidgen, we created a caravan with 32 more cubic feet of room. It's remarkable what a few alterations will do.
We gotta cut Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson? Absolutely.
I'll send him in.
What? Hi, Bubba. It's not that you're not good. You're too good. Is it hot free agent? Just throwing it out there as an idea with no meaning. Bubba. Bubba.
Not going anywhere for a while?
Master of your own destiny.
Grab a Snickers.
Those are great shower shoes. They're comfortable, they look it.
Waiting for a big deal on satellite TV? Then make the move to the company that doesn't make you buy the dish. PrimeStar. Now during PrimeStar's big deal, get satellite TV installed for just $99, including a free month of Showtime, our Channel Pack Prime Entertainment Package, and the revolutionary new Prime Finder remote.
That's a big deal.
So make your move today and get PrimeStar for your home. Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
Last week, she was scorned. But Wednesday, it's Mary's night of revenge.
Mr. Potato Man!
All new Third Rock, NBC Wednesday.
They captured our hearts in Atlanta. Now the Magnificent Seven return. John Hancock presents the Olympic gold medal gymnastics reunion next Saturday on NBC.
And what memories of Atlanta, that gold medal reunion. Kerry Strug here at the Kingdom in Seattle. Don Criqui with Jim Mora. The Tennessee Oilers have just scored the first points of the game on a field goal by Al Del Greco. 37-yard field goal, and now Del Greco kicks off. He sends a spinner downfield that Broussard is moving up on. Steve Broussard from the 5-yard line. Looking for room, not a whole lot there, and he jumps out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. As coming down to make the play on special teams was Lonnie Martz, a linebacker for the Oilers. Here comes Warren Moon, who knows this defense about as well as anybody can know it. In fact, he still works out in the offseason in Houston with a lot of these Oilers.
Right, he should know that secondary pretty good because, he, as you say, he works out with Marcus Robertson, Blaine Bishop, Steve Jackson, Darrell Lewis, all those guys, so he knows their moves and their strengths and weaknesses. So expect him to take advantage of that today.
Blaine Bishop, a regular in the Pro Bowl at strong safety. He was pretty upfront with us. He said, we've just been terrible in pass coverage, but really a lot of people think it's the lack of a big pass rush that has hurt the Oilers. You can't cover forever back there. Here's a penalty marker as the swing pass goes out to running back Lamar Smith, who's taken down at the 27-yard line. Big upset today in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. For more on that, let's go to Greg Gumbel.
Don, final seconds of the game. Troy Aikman looking to stop the clock by spiking the ball with time running down, but he doesn't get everybody set. A procedure call against the Cowboys goes against them, and Aikman runs out of time. So do the Dallas Cowboys. They lose to the Giants 20-17, Don.
First down.
And that, I would think, has to rate Jim as maybe the biggest upset of this season early on.
It's certainly got to be, Don. You know, give the Giants a tremendous amount of credit. They've had some injuries. Their #1 draft pick, Hilliard from Florida, got hurt. He's out for the year, but they've scored 20 points on that Dallas defense. That's pretty good accomplishment.
Penalty signaled against Seattle was the second against the Seahawks, and that sets them back now with a 1st and 20. As Moon goes the swing pass to Lamar Smith, and he's running nicely until he's hit hard and knocked down by cornerback Darrell Lewis at about the 17-yard line.
Well, the Oilers that time were in a 2-deep zone, and as we mentioned earlier, they're going to play a lot more zone today. They're going to take some of the pressure off their corners and expect to get just a pass rush from those 4-down linemen. Normally they have a strong safety or a weak safety up around the line of scrimmage to play the run. That time they played 4-man rush, 7 people back covering, the safeties playing deep.
Safeties are way back as they saw early that Warren Moon's going to try to light him up with a deep ball. You remember the long ball he missed to early on in the game is going deep to McKnight. Here's Woon just releasing the ball at somebody. They might get him on an illegal intentional grounding there. He hit one of his offensive linemen in the back. He was still in the pocket. See what Dick Hantak says. We have 4:13 to go in the first quarter, and it's a 3-0 lead. The Tennessee Oilers are up.
That time what they did is they lined up, the Seahawks are coming out with 3 wide receivers, and the Oilers are going in with their nickel packies. They had number 57, Lenoy Jones, their nickel linebacker in, and he was blitzing off the left side, putting pressure on Moon.
Illegal touching. The pass, legal forward pass, hit an ineligible number 75. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So it was an illegal forward pass, but they declined the penalty to the Oilers.
Right. Warren's going to throw the ball. Getting pressure there from 57 Jones, and when he throws the ball, it hits the right tackle, Ballard. So that's an illegal pass. Illegal touch.
Not hard to hit Big Howard, the House they call him.
The House, you bet.
6'7", 330 pounds. Former Buffalo Bill, who signed here as an unrestricted free agent. Now Moon will be chucking from the shotgun. 3rd down, and he needs 13. Here comes the rush as Moon steps in, makes a throw, and there's good defense by the Oilers to cut it off. He got his tight end, Carlester Crumpler, number 87.
I think the fact that the Oilers are playing their secondary off and playing a lot of zone are throwing the Seahawks off a little bit. And it's making the Seahawks eliminating the deep pass and making the Seahawks throw the underneath routes. And then that secondary's coming up and reacting and making good open field tackles.
So Rick Tootin, who got an only 27 yards on his first punt, will again hit the ball downfield to the ever-dangerous number 21 of Tennessee, Mel Gray. Steps into the ball, hits it high. Mel Gray comes up on it to fair catch at the 30-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 Tennessee when we come back to the Kingdome.
AT&T, it's all within your reach, presents Left in the Locker Room.
You see, it was a safety measure to tear away shirt. And it prevented a lot of injuries. So the next logical step is tear away pants. You never saw so many runners breaking free. We got tons of new fans that year. You see, the media, they never bought into it, you know? I mean, personally, I blame the media for the demise of tearaway pants.
Remember when phone calls were simple? Well, AT&T is making them simple again.
How simple?
Calls from home, a one low rate to anybody in America anytime.
Anytime, no restrictions.
No restrictions.
This is AT&T. One low rate.
To anybody in America all the time. There is no time when this is not the rate. 953. Why is this so hard to understand? Am I just being unclear? I thought I was doing so well.
I'm switching to AT&T.
All right, so we're making a little progress.
No restrictions, no games. The AT&T one-rate plan.
This might be a good time to talk about the Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
It's your own little world. You're way up high, so you can see everything. It has lots of places to hide your treasures. It's roomy. It's cozy, with space for all your favorite things and your favorite people. It makes you feel like you're part of a club. Dodge Caravan. It's like a treehouse for grown-ups.
The Ohio State connection. So many great Buckeyes have come into the NFL, and there's 4 of them here today, although Galloway's unable to play because of a foot injury.
And these are 4 real good players, and they're not the only Ohio State players that are playing in the NFL now. Guys like Chris Carter, Robert Smith of the Vikings, Orlando Pace, the #1 pick of the Rams this year, Terry Glenn of the Patriots, Ricky Dudley, the Raiders. Not only are these good NFL players, they're great NFL players. These guys are some of the top players at their positions in the league.
Ohio State has been kind of the mother lode for drafting #1s. They've sent more top draft choices into the league in the 90s than any other school. Eddie George takes the run, and straight ahead goes Eddie for a gain of 6 as we find out about the Jets and the Colts. Back to Greg.
All right, Don, at Indianapolis, what a job Adrian Morrell does for the Jets ground game. This is 24 of the quickest yards of the day, right up the middle and into the end zone with the extra point. The Jets on top of the Colts, 7-0 first quarter, Don.
When Bill Parcells, Jim, was coaching at New England, he thought that Morrell was the best back in their division. He just loved the guy. Now he's got him on his team, and he's having his best year.
Got a chance to coach him, and he'll give him the football. Parcells likes to run that ball, so Morrell's going to get a lot of opportunities.
Eddie George runs on 2nd down and a long 4, and Big Eddie busts ahead for 5 and a first down.
Well, they're just pounding up inside behind Bruce Matthews right there. Bruce Matthews and Brad Hopkins, the left side of that offensive line. They're working against Matt LaBounty and Dan Saliamua, 2 backup players. They're trying to take advantage of the #1 guard and offensive tackle going against a couple backups.
Steelers, you see them coming back today against Baltimore. One thing about the Steelers, no matter how badly they might get beaten one week, they always seem to bounce back. They did win last week. They beat the Oilers with relative ease as Eddie George runs again, and This is a very reminiscent, Jim, of the opening game against the Raiders at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis when Eddie George was the offense, and a very good one indeed, with 35 carries and 216 yards.
That's right. They're going to give him the ball 35 times. I'll bet he gets it. The other thing is 7 rushes for 32 yards. That's almost, 6 yards a rush. They're being very conservative, very consistent, not beating themselves, not turning the ball over, moving down the field.
Second down and a long 7 for the Tennessee Oilers, who lead the game 3-0 on a Del Greco field goal. Nice throw by McNair against a rush. He gets it out to Ronnie Harmon. His 11th catch of the year is good for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. We'll see where they spot the ball close to the midfield line.
You're going to see Chad Brown coming in there off the corner on a blitz. Doesn't quite get there. McNair said they were going to throw quick routes today, quick timing routes to cut down that rush. Ronnie Harmon there, Don, caught that pass, and one of the things about him last week, he became the first running back in NFL history to gain 6,000 yards in receptions. That's quite a feat.
It really is. He's just been terrific for Buffalo, then San Diego, and now moving on to the Oilers. Here is McNair. High ball could be up for grabs. It's almost picked off by the Hawks. As McNair looked like Sam Adams, who you were pointing out, Jim, as an up-and-down player. Well, that time he was up.
I think,
hand in the air.
Yeah, I think Sam Adams has been playing more consistently this year than he has in the past. But you'll see him right there on the left side of your screen, coming in over the offensive guard and tackling. And he does just exactly what he's supposed to do. If you get kind of stoned or hammered at the line of scrimmage, when that ball's thrown, get up in the air, get the hands up.
He did that and got the ball. And now on 4th down, they get the ball to the up back, and let's see what's going to be spotted now about the 49-yard line. Rodney Thomas is the man, and he gets a first down on the play.
We talked about Ronnie Harmon and his yards, all-time NFL record. The other thing is, in receptions, he's number 2 in the league. 574 receptions up until that last one behind Marcus Allen.
There's a trick play that they were looking for from the Oilers. Or the Oilers were telling us they had some, and the Hawks weren't looking for it. So the fake punt, they finally hand the ball to Harmon, or to Thomas, who got ahead for the first down. So the Oilers keep the ball alive. That time Eddie George was the man who ran it, and he got to the 46-yard line. So a 4th down gamble by Jeff Fisher pays off with a first down.
Well, the Oilers are doing exactly what they told us they're going to do. They want to minimize mental errors. They want to minimize mistakes. They don't want to be turn the football over, so they're being very conservative, running the football, a few play passes. It's working pretty good.
Working very good. They hold a 3-0 lead and have a big advantage in yards. They might get a free play here, as the ball is to Eddie George. A defensive lineman jumped for Seattle. We'll let Dick Hantak tell us whether or not he was drawn offside. Veteran referee who's been one of the best over the years, and the signal is against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I believe it was Sam Adams, number 98, the left tackle. We were just bragging about him, how well he was playing, more consistent.
Offside.
Jumped
Defense,
offside.
number 97, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
Big Dan Saliamua, former Kansas City Chief. There's some huge people in that defensive front, but they can't all rush the passer very well. Cortez Kennedy can, but fortunately for Seattle, he's out today with a sprained knee. Back in a moment.
My name is Anda Andre, Director of Design for Ian Schrager Hotels. I direct the creative effort of building all the hotels. We are our worst competition, so we just have to keep up with ourselves. Because in the end, you are always judged by your last project, and the next one has to be better than before. I say, okay, what's your email? And when they say, we don't have any, I say, you don't? You need to know what's going on in order to know where you want to be. What used to take like sometimes a week, 2 weeks in the library and trying to find out things, now it's like 10 minutes, done. I think as long as you have to be competitive in the world we are living in, anything that helps, you should get.
Mom's calling Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I saw
Our car is sick.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up.
Wow.
Drive you to our place and get you on your way.
Everybody loves to be picked up.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
What did hundreds of people from all across America discover in Chicago at the third MGD blind date? David Bowie. I'm afraid of the world. With special guests, the Chemical Brothers. I'm afraid I can't. Yeah, I'm afraid of a man. The Miller Genuine Draft blind date. Small clubs, large bands, big mystery. MGD music. What's next?
On the last series, Don, they tried a fake punt on 4th down, and it was successful, but they put Dave Craig in there at quarterback. They had Roby back there as the punter, and he's going to jump up, but like he's going to kick the ball or get the snap, but Craig hands the ball off to the running back. Now, the Seahawks were in a good defense for it. They were in their safe punt defense, but they just couldn't defend it to stop him from making the first down.
And ironically, while Warren Moon now quarterbacks the Seahawks as the Oilers' all-time leading passer, Dave Craig, who now plays for the Oilers, is the Seahawks' all-time leading passer, although he's not played it all this year. Here's a throw and a catch as McNair is on the money to a tight end, Frank Wycheck.
You know, you mentioned Dave Craig, Don. I was coaching with the Seahawks back in 1980 when Dave Craig first joined the football team, and he came from Milton College. He was a rookie free agent. He wasn't drafted. In fact, his coach at Milton, Rudy Gadini, begged our personnel director, Dick Mansberger. He says, hey, just bring this guy in as a camp arm. I mean, he's not going to make your team. Just take a look at him. Dave came in. We had a scrimmage the week before we played our first preseason game, and our number 3 quarterback, Steve Meyer, got hurt and couldn't play football anymore.
And all of a sudden...
So all of a sudden, Dave Craig makes the team, and 18 years later, he's still playing in the National Football League.
And he has been a tremendous player. For many years, he graded out among the very best in the NFL throwing the ball. They've had good luck here in Seattle with free agent quarterbacks like the old left-hander, Jim Zorn. He was a free agent.
Jim Zorn was on that team. He was our starting quarterback. A fellow by the name of Sam Atkins was our backup, and then Steve Meyer was our third. And Dave Craig came in as a camp quarterback, ended up making the team, has had a great career. Jim Zorn's now a member of the Seahawks coaching staff.
And Dave Craig, as you mentioned, in his 18th NFL season. Here's McNair, but the play is blown dead by the officials at just before the snap of the ball. It was a 2nd down and 9 play, coming with 13:46 to play.
Offense prior to the snap, number 69. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
John Runyon, the right tackle. 13:46 to play in the first half. Runyon had some problems last week trying to block Gilden, Jason Gilden of the Steelers.
Right, he did. Gilden gave him all sorts of problems last week. Had some sacks and, you know, caused some problems back there. McNair fumbled one time, and it wasn't Gilden that got him on that fumble, but Gilden gave Runyon all sorts of problems last week when they played Pittsburgh.
Now it drops them to a 2nd down and 14 play. Tennessee leading by 3. The pitch back goes to Rodney Thomas. And he is taken down on a good shot by the strong safety Benny Blades, who, when he came out of Miami of Florida, as Blades is down now, he was the 3rd player picked in the entire draft. One of the highest rated players.
Yeah, had a great career, 9 years with the Detroit Lions, as I believe you mentioned earlier. And this...
Right now, Benny shaken up, making the tackle on Thomas.
Sorry.
Late for work? Try the new Accord V6 Coupe from Honda.
All they want is someone to go down for the crime. We're 2 out-of-control cops.
Man in the car is DEA undercover.
The best place to hide
We're gonna find the killer.
is behind a badge.
We are the killers.
Gang-related. Rated R. Starts Wednesday.
More people who make a living with their tools buy their tools at the Home Depot. And with our incredible selection, all at guaranteed low prices, it's a pretty powerful argument for why you should shop here too. The Home Depot, where people who know their stuff buy their stuff.
See the world run.
Run, world, run. Run. See Texaco run. Visualize, hypothesize, explore, and relentlessly search and find the energy the world needs to run. Run, world, run. Texaco, a world of energy.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today? By Honda, vehicles designed to help simplify your life. And by Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute and their search for a cure.
There's Benny Blades on the sideline right there. He probably got a stinger. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think he'll be back. I think he's going to be okay. It's going to be tough to keep him out of the game. He'll want to play.
Says he keeps playing the game because he loves to hit. He'd rather make tackles and interceptions. Here's a long ball, and it could be. It is picked off by Sean Springs. So McNair gambling on a deep ball, and only one guy really had a play on it, the All-American from Ohio State, who was the third player picked in the last draft. In the entire draft, he was the number 3 pick. The first of 2 first-round picks of Seattle, getting a dividend on his selection.
It's nice to see him get some success here with this interception. He took a lot of static and some criticism the first 2 games, but you're going to see him back here on the right side of your screen, and McNair puts that ball up a little bit too high, and Springs is able to react to it and make the interception. He had real good coverage right there, but McNair had a lot of air under the ball.
And I was going to say, Jim, the official right there saw that the possession was made at the 1-yard line. His momentum took it into the end zone. So it's not a touchback. He had possession in the field to play, and Seattle has to start at their 1-yard line.
That's right.
Coaches call this 1st and 99.
Yeah, you don't like to be in this kind of position.
Power set in the backfield. Second back through is Lamar Smith, and right behind his center, Mawai. He gets the ball out to the 5-yard line, almost to the 6. And gives the Seahawks a little over 4 yards and some breathing room.
Well, when you get down into this territory, you're not going to get too crazy with your play calling. All you want to do here is get it out from by the goal line and give yourself a little breathing room so you can open up the offense a little bit. And that's what they're trying to do here. You got a pretty good gain there, about 5 yards on first down.
Hey, why not get crazy with your play calling, though, and let something go deep?
Well, you can. You know, I don't think the Seahawks are going to do it in this situation, but you certainly could.
That's
probably
Steve
the best
Jackson,
thing. Yeah.
who's down there. He's shaking up the left corner for the Tennessee Oilers. So while Steve is at 10-2 and looks like he's okay, there's a break in the action.
Got a taste for something new? Introducing Domino's new pesto crust pizza. Zesty pesto made from sweet basil, parsley, and savory garlic kneaded right into the dough. Baked, then brushed with pure olive oil and sprinkled with Romano cheese for a truly authentic flavor. New pesto crust pizza, only from Domino's. Get any large, not medium, any large one-topping pizza for $9.99 and a second one-topping for $5.99.
Domino's, hot wow now.
Send your packages in 2 days with FedEx to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail to lots of different places. You get the same price. You know, $3.
So, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
The Civic Coupe from Honda. What more do you need?
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now to enjoy a hot and delicious Domino's Pizza by halftime. For Hot and Wow, call Domino's now.
Back to the Kingdome in Seattle. Steve Jackson looked like he may have turned an ankle, Jim, so the cornerback is out. Now, that is the 7th interception for the Seattle defense, the one that was just picked off by Sean Springs in the last 3 games. They had 3 last week.
2 games. There are 3 games, including today.
Counting
right,
today,
right,
yeah.
You're right.
They had 6 in the previous 2. Play fake, and now they are living a little dangerously as they get the ball out nicely, and it's Max Strong, the fullback, coming out of the backfield. And it looks like he may have a first down. You remember, this drive started at the 1-yard line after Sean Springs' interception.
Well, this is a pretty safe play right here. Pretty safe pass. They faked the run there to Lamar Smith, and they're going to hit Max Strong right out there in the flat, just enough to pick up the first down. Nice job by him.
Now with the ball is spotted, they're going to bring out the sticks and take a look with 12:03 to play in the first half. Last year, the Oilers came in here and absolutely were devastated by the way the game turned out. It was tied 16-all. And then Mike McCrary of the Seahawks came in and blocked what looked to be a winning field goal attempt by Del Greco. McCrary picked up the loose ball, lateral to teammate Robert Blackman. Off he went to the end zone, and the Seahawks won the game. And Erickson was absolutely jubilant. And the Oilers left here absolutely despondent. Erickson, talking about kickers, they could have beaten Kansas City last week had his guy made a field goal from 38, who's normally been very good, Todd Peterson. Erickson, hey, these guys don't do anything but kick. We expect them to make them.
I know, that's what he said. He didn't look to me or sound to me like he's very fond of kickers. Expecting him to make those kicks.
But Peterson's very good.
Peterson normally does make those from 37, 38 yards.
The Hawks beaten in overtime at KC, but they said they took a lot out of the game because they played well enough to win, and rather than get down over a close loss, they realized they can play with the best. And here is a skipped ball off the hands of receiver Brian Blades, and Warren Moon took a shot in the end zone. There's a marker down back there.
There is no foul on the play. The defender was coming off of a block.
Yeah, that probably initially he threw it as a roughing the passer call, but if he's being blocked into the quarterback, then they're not going to call it. It's no foul. That's number 90, James Roberson, right there. And number 96, Gary Walker, coming in a little bit late, but that was a good call by the official.
The old adage, no harm, no foul. Warren actually tripping over one of the pass rushers for the Oilers, James Roberson. So 2nd down and 10 will arise when play resumes. Again, we have a timeout on the field with 11:42 to play in the first half. Dennis Erickson in his 3rd year as coach of the Seahawks after having a phenomenal year, 8 years as coach of the Miami Hurricanes. Remind you to follow the NFL season online at NBCSports.com. Check in on all the action from the early games with stats and summaries. Plus hear from Joe Avezzano of the Cowboys, their special team coach, Ron Zook of the Steelers, and the Eagles' Joe Wessel as they explain the art of special teams football. It's all at NBCSports.com. Dennis Erickson, who was a top quarterback at Montana State University in Bozeman, is the son of a football coach, Pink Erickson, his dad, and he actually played against his dad's team when they were both up at Everett. He went to Cascade. His dad coached Everett. He was the quarterback for the team that went against his dad 6 times. They played against each other twice a year.
Right, twice a year, yeah.
Said those Friday night dinners before the game were interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. He said his mother's the one that took all the grief.
He said, who did Mom root for? She said, the moms always root for their sons.
He said that his dad comes to practice every Thursday. He lives right up in Everett, right up the road here from Seattle. Comes to practice every Thursday. Will stick around for lunch, although the last few weeks he said he's been on IR, injured reserve, because he had a little shoulder surgery for a rotator cuff. He also said that his dad comes to the games, of course, every game, and he says he just can't sit still in his seat. By the end of the game, he's up there in that coach's box, you know, critiquing them.
I said to Dennis, does he give you much input? He says, about everything, believe me. He's the coach. It's now 3rd down and 7. Warren Moon stands in, makes a throw, and there's very good coverage by the Oilers as they celebrate. Blaine Bishop with reason to pump the fist, as their pass defense was perfect on that play. No place to go, nobody open.
You know, Blaine Bishop, you asked him yesterday how he covers those big tight ends, because he's not a big physical guy. He says, well, I've got corner athletic ability, and he says the thing I don't want to do is get tied up with those tight ends and let them get physical with me, so I stay off of them, anticipate, and then break on the ball. I don't want to get physical with them.
All right, so once they get their hands on me being much smaller, they can control me. I stay away as Mel Gray now returns Rick Tootin's punt. Mel Gray across the 40 and out close to the 42-yard line. Special teams tackle by Max Strong of the Seahawks.
They give us heroes. They give us hope. They let us laugh and cry and fall in love. Movies touch us as few things can. Any technology that heightens the experience of watching movies at home makes life even more enjoyable.
DVD video from Philips Magnavox. Technology for the heart, the spirit, and the imagination.
We all need our space. The new, larger, more luxurious V6 Accord from Honda.
I hate machines. Sorry, Rosie.
Why don't we go to the new Sprint store at Radio Shack, George? They have Sprint's easy-to-use products.
And the know-how of Radio Shack.
They even showed Astro how to use his mobile phone.
They could even help you, Mr. J.
Astro has a mobile phone? Hello, Rhonda.
The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern on the NFL on NBC, the Bills, the Patriots, Bruce Smith and Buffalo battle Bledsoe and first place New England, the Dolphins, the Jets, Marino and Miami face Neil O'Donnell and high-flying New York, or the Oilers and the Bengals. The NFL on NBC next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern.
We're back at the Kingdom in Seattle. Don Criqui with Jim Mora. Jeff Fisher, he had an extended team meeting where fingers were pointed and names were named after the Steeler game.
You know, normally when you come in on Monday, what you do with your team is you break them down right, or maybe have a short team meeting with the head coach, make a few comments, and then break them down into offensive and defensive meetings. And then break them down even more into position meetings. But after 3 losses this last Monday, Jeff Fisher felt like, hey, we needed something different. We needed something more than that. So what he did is he met with the whole team. He broke out the game film from the game against Pittsburgh last Sunday, and he critiqued everybody. I mean, he named names, offense, defense. He was positive. He was negative. But the main point that he got across with that football team was, fellas, we're beating ourselves. It wasn't Pittsburgh that beat us. We beat ourselves, and we got to eliminate those mistakes.
And they have been a much sounder football team today. Hit the Oilers, who continue to lead 3-0 on a Del Greco field goal in the first quarter on the opening drive for Tennessee. As here is a throw, and Wycheck with those very good hands, taking it below the belt with a fingertip catch. Jay Bellamy, an extra defensive back, brought him down. He had 8 catches last week in the loss to the Steelers.
Well, they were coming with the blitz, and I've seen we've had the Seahawks a number of times, and we don't see them blitz this much, but they're coming with the blitz with Moss, number 55, 94, Chad Brown. That puts Bellamy on man for man against the receiver. He didn't do a good job of covering him. Now Bruce Matthews gets up a little slow right there. As you know, Bruce injured his knee last week, wasn't supposed to play, but started the game and has been playing pretty well ever since the start of the game.
Yes, he has. Bruce Matthews, one of the best at his position in the NFL, an absolute athletic marvel in his 15th year as one of the top offensive linemen from Southern California. Now the Oilers want to signal for a timeout that stops the clock with 9:25 to play in the first half. Kerry Strug and the rest of America's gold medal winning Magnificent Seven are reunited for the first time as John Hancock presents the gold medal gymnastics reunion. That is next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time here on NBC. The Olympic gold medal reunion, as right now the Tennessee Oilers with the ball positioned at the 47-yard line of Seattle.
Don, you know, you mentioned, you asked Warren Moon yesterday who was the best offensive lineman he ever played with, and he put Bruce Matthews and Mike Munchak, who were offensive linemen for him when he was with the Oilers, right up there at the top. Mike Munchak is now the offensive line coach for the Tennessee Oilers.
Well, he was a fantastic player. Munchak shows Matthews been. They had probably the two best guards in the league when those two were in tandem. Although Matthews has literally played all over the line. He's played center, offensive tackle, guard. I think he's been to the Pro Bowl at every position.
He has, and he and his brother Clay Matthews, who had a extremely lengthy career in the NFL. That's got to be a very unusual accomplishment that those two brothers accomplished. You got to give a lot of credit to that mom and dad.
Yeah, they turned out some long distance football players. I think Clay, talk about longevity he had. He played 18 years as a linebacker. Good fake by McNair. He buys time. He's looking deep. He lets it go long. He's got a man, and the ball is knocked away at the last moment by Sean Springs. There is a penalty marker down back where the ball was released. And the quarterback is down as McNair was going long distance to Willie Davis, and then he took a shot as he released the ball.
Well, they were coming with the blitz again. They've done this 2 or 3 times so far in the game. They're coming with the outside blitz with Chad Brown right there, and then Chad Brown right there, and Winston Moss coming in from the left side. It's a late hit by Chad Brown. They were coming with the blitz, so Sean Springs was in man-to-man coverage on Willie Davis and made a real nice play on the ball to knock it down. There's the hit there by Chad Brown. See what he did there that they don't like? He had his helmet down. He hit him with the crown of the helmet. Anytime you do that on the quarterback, they're going to call it.
And call it they did, so they missed the long pass play broken up by Springs. They do get a first down to the Oilers down to the 32-yard line. Tennessee leads 3-0. Handoff. Eddie George looking for room, and he finds some as he breaks into the Seahawks secondary. A first down run is good for a gain of almost 9 yards.
Well, this is a nice run by Eddie George. What he does well is he does a good job of picking his hole right there, and Brad Hopkins, the left tackle, does a nice job of pulling and blocking the defensive end out, creating the running room for George. And George is a very patient runner.
Yeah, he is. He waits for his blocks.
Yeah, he really does.
As you see, he is approaching 50 yards in the first half. The problem with the Tennessee offense has been the fact because of turnovers, they've fallen well behind early in the last 2 games, and consequently they've had to drop their game plan, go to an all-out passing game, and they've had to eschew the running of Eddie George, who was so fantastic at being able to control the game.
Against Baltimore 2 weeks ago, Eddie George rushed 10 times for 40 yards. Last week against Pittsburgh, he rushed 12 times for 29 yards. So he's already surpassed his rushing yardage in both of those games and almost got enough that would be more than those 2 games combined, which would be 69 yards. He's got 47. So they're doing what they intended to do, and that's give him the football. He doesn't look like that muscle strain is bothering him any, does he, Don?
Now, well, he's, it's news when Eddie George isn't ready to go full speed. In 4 years at Ohio State as a starter, he not only never missed a game, he never missed a practice. And he's been the same way as an Oiler.
Yeah, he's got a reputation for a tremendous work ethic. Lifting weights after practice, running sprints after practice. He just wants to show people. He don't want anybody to do anything more than he can do. He says, I want to do more than anybody I play against. I want to be that prepared.
And like the great ones, he's never satisfied. No matter how well he plays, he thinks he can do better. This time, it is the Seahawk defense that does better. A hard stick as Bellamy making some plays as an extra defensive back. Another thing about Jeff Fisher, Jim, and you've been in the coaching business a long time, he's always up. I mean, you think when he came into our meeting last night that he'd be down after 3 straight losses and a very poor performance in Pittsburgh. But he's always positive. He's a young guy, and I think that carries over to his players.
There's no question about it. And you have to be positive as a head coach. Anytime those players see the head coach down, then they're going to get down. Coaches set the tempo for the attitude of the football team. Starts with the head coach right on down to the position coaches.
He said the attitude will be good today as on 3rd and short, McNair calls his own number. He is the, believe it or not, the 2nd leading rusher on the Oiler team is Steve McNair with 150 yards coming into this game.
You know, a lot of people are a little bit critical of Steve McNair, the fact that he doesn't run the ball more. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got great speed. He's one of the fastest players on the Oiler football team. But he chooses to go back and you know, he's looking for those receivers, and running is always secondary in his mind.
There's Les Steckel on the right. He is the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Oilers. They're bringing the sticks out to measure. It looked initially like he did have enough.
You know, I think that McNair doesn't want to be known as a running quarterback, a guy that just goes back there and is going to tuck it down and take off at any time. I think he wants to be known as a guy, hey, he's going to have patience, he's going to go back there, he's going to look over the defense, and he's going to try to get that ball in there with the throw.
He's got the strong arm to thread it in, but you have to look at that 7.1 yards of rush. That ain't bad. You're going to see he's like John Elway. When he takes off, there's a defense out there that's in big trouble. On first down, McNair with a fake. There's a nice throw as he goes to Wycheck. They love that play, the tight end drag or whatever they call it, coming underneath. They practice that all the time. They worked out in their pass offense day this week, and it's good for another first down.
Well, there's Wycheck right there, and he's going to block down, and then he's going to go right out into the flat, and McNair's going to come out on the bootleg play, and he's wide open. I think Bellamy, number 20 there, was supposed to have covered him, but he went with the run fake, saw Wycheck block initially, and was sucked in with the run.
Wycheck already with 3 catches today, 8 last week against the Steelers, and challenging for perhaps the first touchdown of the game by the Oilers. Another fake, and now McNair does the right thing as they didn't buy the fake. And Bellamy again was coming. Number 20 has been all over the field, and he didn't buy the fake. He was going right after McNair.
Right. They had Bellamy coming on a blitz right there. He's going to come rushing hard, and now he's going to get right in Moon's face. He reads that bootleg well that time, gets right in his face, makes Moon throw a high pass, and Springs had good coverage on the route.
Jay Bellamy, a 4th-year player from Rutgers, and they could use him back at dear old Rutgers. Mark, talk about a team struggling.
They really are.
50-0 is the norm. They've really been getting knocked around the Big East. Here's McNair with a fake. Now he starts to roll, takes a look, throws over the middle. It's a touchdown to Eddie George. What a play by McNair. You talk about greatness rising. Unbelievable. The fake, the rush. He was in trouble, and all of a sudden he threads it into the one guy that's open.
Well, they got another play-action pass here. He's going to fake a run fake right there to Rodney Thomas, and he's going to look back to his left side for the slant route by the wide receiver. He was covered. Everybody else was covered. Eddie George snuck out into the pattern, and McNair hit him for the touchdown. Great job by McNair of adjusting there. Not losing his poise, not losing his cool, hanging in there calm and cool, and got the throw for the touchdown.
And now the Tennessee Oilers looking to extend their lead to 10-0 with 6:32 to play in the first half. Del Greco's good with the extra point, and the underdog Oilers find themselves in the lead 10-0.
Someone to go down for the crime. We're 2 out-of-control cops.
The man in the car is DEA undercover.
The best place to hide.
We're gonna find the killer.
Is behind a badge.
We are the killers.
Gang-related. Rated R. Starts Wednesday.
What's an e-business?
What's an e-business?
E-business.
I don't know. What's an e-business?
I don't know.
What if the best way to end your nightmares was to travel inside them? A dream team trained to travel into your mind. Coming November 1st to NBC. Sleepwalkers.
Back at the Kingdom in Seattle, the Tennessee Oilers, a surprising leader, 10-0. Don Criqui with Jim Mora. Jim, before the game, both these coaches labeled this a game they had to win, and right now, Tennessee is doing it.
There's no question about it. The game plan that they came into this game with is working to perfection. Run the football, play pass, very conservative, don't take any big chances. It's working to a T here.
It really is, as they have their whole offense going. McNair just making one of the best plays we've seen this season in the NFL. in the face of an all-out rush. He spun and turned and found the only guy open, Eddie George, for a touchdown to extend the lead now to a very impressive 10-0. And Del Greco kicks off again and does it well as he hammers the ball down to the 2-yard line, where Steve Broussard runs back another. And Broussard is stood up and thrown back as he gets to the 23-yard line. Broussard, a real comeback story, a #1 draft choice out of Washington State by Atlanta. He talked to us very openly. You really had to admire his courage about the high life he got wrapped up in. All of a sudden, drugs and drinking, and he came home to an empty house one day. His wife and daughter had moved out, and he's completely turned his life around.
Right. It was a very impressive story, and I was really impressed with the way he told us. And like you said, he was very honest. And he started drinking and using drugs when he was about 10 years old. And up until about a year and a half ago, he said he drank almost every day. And finally came, you know, when his wife and daughter left him, he says, hey, I got to get my life squared away here. And he went to Dennis Erickson. He said, Coach, I need some help. And they put him in a rehab program over in Eastern Washington, and he's been a changed man ever since. His wife and daughter are now back with him. They have a great family life, very Christian family, and he's doing extremely well.
And he's out to tell his story. He wants to help others. Very honest, very open, and very impressive. Now a very soft-spoken guy, but to meet him now, you'd never think he was a guy running around with a party hat on.
No, not at all.
But he said he came from a part of South Central L.A., a tough part of town where there was drugs all over, and he really grew up in a drug and drinking environment, and it got him and almost ended his career, but he's made the comeback.
The interesting thing to me was he said that when he didn't drink, he didn't use drugs. He says what led him into the drugs is anytime he got drinking too much with the alcohol, then he'd start using drugs. He says, all I got to do is cure my alcohol problem, and I won't have to do the drugs. And he's done that.
He gave the team a big lift here in the Kingdome, did Broussard, when he came in the fourth quarter against San Diego and ignited a comeback win earlier in the season. Right now, it is 2nd down and 8. Warren Moon and the Seahawks, they need to get back in the game. Here's a throw and almost a pick. As he tried to gun the ball to his tight end, it was Christian Fourier. Big Josh Evans, a very mobile defensive lineman, was kind of dropping off with him and almost had the ball.
Yeah, they were in a zone blitz right there, and you're going to see number 57, Lenoy Jones coming off the corner right there, and then they're going to drop number 91, Josh Evans, back into the zone. He's exactly where he's supposed to be and knocks the ball down. I'm sure he would have liked to have intercepted. He probably hadn't had too many interceptions in his career, big old 91, huh?
Not too many defensive linemen get any. They'll be coming at Warren Moon again. Will the Oiler defenders, as it's 3rd down and 8. Here comes the rush. Moon steps in, throws the ball, gets it to his man, and Smith breaks it open. Looks like he has a first down. He does. On 3rd and 8, he gets ahead for a gain of about 14 yards and a Seattle first down.
Right, he was being covered man for man by number 58, Joe Bowden, the linebacker. And Bowden right there just gets beat a little bit. Lamar Smith outruns him. You know, anytime you can put a running back on a linebacker, you have a little bit of a speed advantage and athletic ability advantage, and Lamar Smith took advantage of it right there.
So the Seattle Seahawks drive on, ball positioned at the 48-yard line of Tennessee. Moon sacked. First of the day. It's an impressive one as Henry Ford, number 92, comes thundering through.
This is Henry Ford, the defensive right tackle. He's going to come up the middle, a good push, good push. They'd had a little game going on there with James Roberson, the defensive right end. I believe this is true, Don. I believe that's the 2nd sack by a starting defensive lineman for the Houston Oilers this season. They have not been doing a good job rushing the passer.
But they're ignited today, as the Seahawks have only given up 7 sacks this season. Prior to that, as the handoff goes to Lamar Smith, and he breaks on a 2nd down and 17 play straight ahead and gets to the 44-yard line, which brings up 3rd down and about 5.
Well, they run a draw here on 2nd and 17. Do a nice job there. Derek Graham, the right guard, number 77, did a nice job there. Blaine Bishop comes up, the strong safety, number 23, and makes the tackle. Lamar Smith's getting a good dose of running here with Chris Warren not being able to play today.
Yes,
doing
he
a
is.
nice job.
But right now, it's going to be a thrown ball. 5 receivers in the game as Warren Moon stands in, pumps it up the middle. What a play. On 3rd down and 6. Warren Moon threads it in. Mike Pritchard, number 85, makes the play. 1st down, Seattle inside the 35-yard line of Tennessee.
Top of your screen here, he's going to hit Pritchard. He's going to come right on the inside quickly. Warren's going to hit him. Nice throw. Warren loves Pritchard. He says now that Galloway's not able to play today with that sprained ankle, Pritchard is his go-to guy. He likes Pritchard. He says he's a very underrated receiver.
And he is the leading receiver this season for Seattle. That was his 23rd catch of the year. Moon takes a look, makes a throw. Fourier, the tight end, a big former #1 draft choice out of Colorado, makes the reception to the 27-yard line.
Well, what they're doing here is they're spreading that Oiler defense out. They've got the tight end Fourier spread out to the right side, and Moon's going to find him right there. He's coming in from the outside. Normally you don't see a tight end out that wide, but they do that with Fourier. He's a good athlete. He's the kind of tight end that you can get out there wide and work on those defensive backs. He's got that kind of athletic ability in hands.
Yeah, very good receiver. Not as big as some tight ends go. Here's Warren Moon taking a look again, but he doesn't have time to release the ball. Yes, he does as he gets the ball away. Somehow, just before he was hit, he released the ball, and Fourier, the sure-handed tight end we're talking about, makes another big play. So did Warren Moon there. He looked like he was gone. So
yeah, that was a good throw by Warren. You know, he's been in that situation so many times it probably doesn't bother him.
He can handle heat. He just did.
Oh, free beer.
I gotta warn you, boys, those seats are taken.
By us.
Okay, I warned you.
Excuse me, those are our beers.
Excuse us. We should have known these were yours.
You being that rugged outdoor type and all.
Yeah, couldn't you see him hiking through the Rockies, climbing snow-capped peaks like some great American hero?
Who do you think you are, John Wayne?
No, that would be me.
Yeah, right. I'm Ben Cartwright.
No, he's over there.
Anything we can do for you?
We was just about to buy a cold one for the Duke.
Oh, don't make a point of saying that too often. And once more will be too often.
Coors Light for the house!
Like this little fracas is about over.
This might be a good time to talk about the Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
Hot to the house with the latest flavor that everybody loves. Domino's Pesto Crust Pizza. Seasoned with garlic, basil, and parsley. Baked into a classic hand-tossed crust. Sprinkled with zesty herbs and tangy Romano cheese. Always made fresh when you call and delivered hot to your house. Now order any large one-topping pizza for $9.99 and get a second one of equal or lesser value for $5.99.
A full slate of regional NFL action next Sunday on NBC at 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Then Dan Marino and the Dolphins take on the Jets. The Bills battle Bledsoe and the Patriots, or the Bengals face the Oilers. Check your local listings for the game in your area. That is the NFL on NBC next Sunday starting at 12 noon Eastern time. Right now, the Seattle Seahawks down 10-0 on their home field, driving with a first down here late in the first half. Swing pass beautifully thrown by Moon, nicely received by Lamar Smith, and then the defense comes calling, hopping away. Darrell Lewis, 29, was there to make a stick, and also on the play was Joe Bowden.
Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for the Oilers, told us yesterday, he said, hey, we're going to play more zone than we normally do. We're going to be dropping off. He says, what we've got to do is when they throw the short ball, we've got to come up and make good tackles in the open field. They had a good pursuit and rally to the ball that time and got the receiver down for about a 2-yard gain. Good job of pursuit, good job of tackling in the open field.
Yeah, the Oiler defense is really running and tackling well. This is the 11th play of the Seahawks drive coming up. Throw over the middle as Warren Moon, he sees blitz. The ball's on the field. Is he down? Let's see what they rule. It was a catch, and he lost it. Oilers think they have the ball. We'll see if Dick Hantek and his crew confer. Darryl Hobbs, the newest Seahawk, who was just cut this past week by New Orleans. Yeah, they ruled it. Hobbs caught the ball. Well, watch again. You'll see that Hobbs does have possession.
Right, the Oilers are coming with the blitz again with Moss and Brown. I don't know if he had possession there or not. I don't believe he did. I don't think he had control of that.
Upon further review, we don't have that anymore. We're going to get it again, though, I think. It looked like his knee might have been down. The officials, they just showed it on the matrix here at the Kingdome. And as you can imagine, it did not get a nice reception. Dennis Erickson, he explodes on the sideline because he thought his team was denied possession of the ball, that it was an incomplete pass.
I think he's right.
But the officials have ruled it goes to the Oilers, and so they go back to the run, and the Seattle defense doesn't give much to Eddie George with just 1:33 left to play in the first half.
You know, Don, coming into this game, the Oilers only had 3 takeaways in 4 games. They were the lowest in the National Football League. No interceptions, 3 fumbles. That was their 4th takeaway. They're probably still the lowest with 4, but at least they're getting the ball out of there right there. It was a good job by Steve Jackson, although I didn't think it was a completed pass, or Darrell Lewis. It was a good job by the corner, Darrell Lewis, of tackling high and stripping the ball.
Let's see what Steve McNair elects to do now. The last possession, remember, he had Eddie George with a touchdown pass. He's going to come out firing with 1.5 minutes left. He throws over the middle, makes a connection. It's Eddie George who caught the TD pass, and now Fast Eddie makes a 5-yard reception out to the 25-yard line. And a timeout is called with 49 seconds to go in the half.
Traveling around the world, one thing has become clear. When we show people what the Pentium 2 processor can do for a PC, they want to get it. Except for kids. Kids already get it.
We are at the Kingdome in Seattle as we go to an NFL flashback. This was November of last year. Del Greco's field goal blocked by McCrary of the Seahawks. The lateral to Robert Blackman, and off he goes. With seconds remaining in the game, Blackman goes in with a game-winning touchdown. The boos continue to rain down here in the Kingdome. McNair stands in. Here's the rush. McNair, at 225 pounds, breaks the tackle, slides ahead, and gets to the 35-yard line for a first down.
See,
he was caught and lost, and he gained 10 yards.
That's what a guy like that can do for you, a quarterback. They had really good coverage. The Seahawks were in a man-to-man coverage, had everybody covered. McNair scrambled, got the first down.
And now McNair downs the ball to stop the clock with 27 seconds to play. In the first half, he'll try to get it downfield a couple more times and get Del Greco in long range.
I've been in that situation so many times as a coach. You know, coaching the defense over there, you've got them in third long, pretty good situation for you for defense. You've got great coverage, you got a good rush, and the quarterback burns you with the scramble. Guys like Steve Young, Brett Favre, McNair, they can do that kind of thing to you. Very disheartening to the defense.
McNair is setting up to dishearten him more if he can. As he stands in, here comes the rush. He lets it fly, and he hits an open man. A penalty marker is down right from where McNair released the ball. The Seahawks have hands pumped, and there's going to be a holding call apparently against Tennessee. If the play went, it would be a 15-yard gain.
Holding offense, number 53.
Stepnoski, the center, is called for holding.
10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Third down.
At halftime, we'll go to the NFL and NBC halftime report in New York with Greg Gumbel, Sam Weich, and Chris Collinsworth. Week 6 of the NFL season. And the Tennessee Oilers looking to stop a losing streak that has reached 3 games. They've already had their bye week. They came into this game with a record of 1-3. Beat the Raiders on opening day at Memphis and had lost since. And now Eddie George, weaving his way, kicks in and turns it upfield for a gain out to the 35-yard line, a gain of 10 yards on the play. That looks like it's going to be it, Jim, for the first half of play. So the Oilers do a big job moving the ball and building a 10-0 lead over the favored Seattle Seahawks. Dennis Erickson still lamenting that play call he thought was wrong, but we'll find out. First, we're going to find out about the rest of the league this day as we go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's. Now,
Don Criqui, thank you. Welcome, everyone, to our studios. Along with Chris Collinsworth and Sam Weish, I'm Greg Gumbel. We're here to update you on scores and highlights of the action today, and we'll begin with the game taking place in Oakland between the Raiders and the San Diego Chargers. The Chargers with a 9-0 lead on 3 Greg Davis field goals. I know I said it earlier today that the Raiders are the most exciting team in football. Not today, they are.
The mystique has become a mystery. You don't know who's going to be there. Until this last drive, they had 40 yards of total offense and 38 yards of penalties. There's the Raiders for you. But they still got the big gun, the quick strike. They can come back. All right, Sam, in Indianapolis, the New York Jets against the winless Colts have a 10-point lead. And so far, the Jets have proven themselves to be a pretty adept team away from home.
How do you feel about the stock market this month? I just want
to know.
I like to go the other way. You know, when you look at the New York Jets and what they've been able to do this year, they've played 4 of their 6 games so far on the road and have been very impressive. Seattle, Cincinnati, Indianapolis should have beaten New England up there. So that's a sign of a team that's really on the come whenever they can play well on the road. All right, Chris, in Arizona, the Minnesota Vikings and the Cardinals are tied at 10. And in Seattle, the game that you are watching, it's a 10-0 Oiler lead on the Seattle Seahawks. Now, earlier today, terrific game in Miami where the Dolphins held on to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 17-14, including postseason. Chiefs have now lost 10 of 12 to the Dolphins. 7-7 tie, second quarter. Elvis Gerbach to the rookie tight end, Tony Gonzalez, 21 yards and a touchdown, and the Chiefs take a 14-7 lead. Gerbach threw for 177 and 2 touchdowns. 14-7 in the second. Dan Marino ties the game. Bernie Parmalee, 7 yards. Marino passed for 259 and 1 TD. 17-14 in the fourth. Dolphins took the lead on a field goal. Kansas City's last shot, 4th and 3 from the 39. Gerbach to Marcus Allen. He is stopped for no gain. Miami holds on to win, and the Dolphins improve to 3-2. The Chiefs fall to 4-2. In Green Bay, the Packers handed the Bucks their first loss of the season, 21-16. Tony Dungy looking to guide the Bucks to 6-0, their best start in franchise history. Didn't happen. 7-3 Packers in the second. Trent Dilfer's screen is intercepted by defensive end Gabe Wilkins, who hurdles Dilfer en route to an 82-yard touchdown. Packers went up 14-3. And then Brett Favre began to find the groove. This is a 7-yard touchdown pass to Antonio Freeman, the second for that twosome today. Green Bay opened up a 21-3 lead and won it 21-16. The Pack is 4-2. The Bucks are 5-1. In Jacksonville, Mark Brunell threw 3 touchdown passes. The Jaguars over the Bengals 21-13. At the Meadowlands, the New York Giants knocked off the Dallas Cowboys 20-17. Second quarter, quarterback Dave Brown of the Giants injures his right shoulder. He was replaced by Danny Cannell. 9-6 Dallas late in the third quarter. Still no touchdowns in the game. Troy Aikman picked off by Tito Wooten, who returns 61 yards for his first career interception return for a touchdown. Giants led 13-9. 20-17 Giants in the fourth. Wild finish. Dallas down 3 seconds to go. Aikman to Eric Bjornsson for a 31-yard pass, putting the Cowboys into field goal range. No timeouts left. Aikman wants to spike it to stop the clock. Dallas can't set it up in time. The Cowboys are called for an illegal procedure penalty, and the Giants hold on to win it 20-17. The Giants are 3-3. Cowboys are 3-2. In Baltimore, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the highest scoring game of the season, 42-34 winners. Bill Cowher and Cordell Stewart talking about Cordell's 3 first-half interceptions. 14-0 Baltimore in the second. Eugene Daniel had 2 of those picks. This 43-yard return set up Baltimore's 3rd touchdown. And this is it. Vinny Testaverde to Brian Kinchin, 24 yards. Ravens led 21-0. This game is solid, right? 24-21 in the fourth. Stewart
3 second-half touchdown passes, that one to Mark Bruner. 2 minutes left. Stewart fakes the handoff and the reverse, and he breaks loose. He outruns everyone to the end zone. 74 yards, his second rushing touchdown of the game. The Steelers win it 42-34 and improve to 3-2 while the Ravens fall to 3-3. How about Cordell Stewart? 3 interceptions in the first half, 3 touchdown passes. He ran for 2. Look at his numbers, 18 of 28, 246 yards. Not a bad outing at all as Pittsburgh wins it 42-34. In Philadelphia, the Eagles beat the Redskins today 24-10. And in Buffalo, the Bills over the Detroit Lions 22-13. Barry Sanders leading the way for the Lions this afternoon, 107 yards rushing. Tied 3-3 in the second. Todd Collins to Andre Reed. This is 43 yards and a touchdown, and the Bills go up top 10-3. 13-6 Bills in the fourth. 3rd and goal from the 8. Scott Mitchell not able to find an open receiver, so he'll take it in himself. This ties the game at 13 all. With just over 2 minutes to play, the play of the game turned in by Buffalo's defense. Bruce Smith and Phil Hansen combined to tackle Barry Sanders in the end zone for the safety. 15-13 Bills. They add an Antoine Smith touchdown and beat the Detroit Lions today by a 22-13 count. Collins threw for 122 yards and a touchdown. We will send you back to Seattle for the second half of the Oilers and the Seahawks right after these messages and news headlines from your local station.
And now the working definition of status.
So where'd they have you park?
Why?
It's usually a good indicator of where you rank on the food chain.
Not far. Fred Savage in a comedy that's different. Working premieres Wednesday on NBC.
Hundreds of area codes in the United States, and they keep multiplying. So if you want to find a business in Boston, a hotel in LA, or your aunt in Chicago, it can be frustrating. But now you can find any listed number anywhere in the country with just one local call. Introducing 1411. It's not just local.
Hey, I found you.
It's National Directory Assistance from US West. Here, simple beats complicated every time. Life's better here. US West.
The NBA is on the way to the Treasure Valley. On Monday, October 20th, professional basketball debuts at the new Idaho Center when the Denver Nuggets face the Washington Wizards. See the stars and feel the excitement of the NBA. Tickets are on sale right now at the Idaho Center or at any selected seat location. Watch for details on how you might win a brand new car from Happy Days Ford. The 1997 Idaho Center Shootout is presented by Pizza Hut and Idaho's News Channel 7.
Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's. Now,
Greg Gumbel back in our New York studios along with Chris Collinsworth and Sam Weish. And earlier today in Miami, the Dolphins beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Miami is now 3-2. Kansas City drops to 4-2. Dan Marino had a solid game, and afterwards he spoke with Charlie Jones, Randy Cross, and Bob Trumpy.
The Miami Dolphins defeating Kansas City 17-14. Dan Marino, to me it looked like it was Dan Marino of old. Vintage Danny. Do you feel that way?
Well, I feel like I made some good throws today, made some real good decisions, and I think the key to us offensively is, not making the big mistakes. We didn't turn it over. The unfortunate thing, we need to run the ball up better than we're running it right now, but we made plays when we had to, and we're close to getting over that hump to becoming a good offense. I mean, we're an okay offense right now, but, we struggle a little bit when we get close to the green zone, when at the end of the game we needed that touchdown, and the field goal wasn't good enough, but it was good enough to win. But, we're getting better.
Danny, I noticed you discovered Troy Drayton, and you also threw it to him several times when he was flat covered, but still had the confidence that he would go get it.
Well, we talked about having guys make plays all week, and, this whole bye week, you just have to throw it up there and take a shot with some guys. I try to throw it behind the linebacker so he can have a little more of an advantage, and just come out for the ball and out of his break, and it worked out. There was a couple times I did do that, though, just throw it to guys that were covered.
Another guy that I think surprised the Chiefs defense the way he used him was Bernie Parmalee. Tell us a little bit something about that touchdown pass you threw to him.
Bernie's forced into playing fullback for us, and the touchdown pass was simply something I asked for all week, is just a bootleg. It's a similar play to what Kansas City runs and San Francisco runs. It's a naked bootleg with the fullback coming underneath, and I knew the defense they play and all the man coverage they play under down in the green zone would have a chance to get that, and it worked for a touchdown.
Well, you talk about surprises. Miami Dolphins, Dan Marino getting to the outside.
That's right. That's right.
Congratulations, Dan. Also, congratulations on victory number 126.
Well, thank you.
Hi, Dan Marino, a very gracious gentleman, but that smile of his, don't be fooled by it. There is nothing about Dan Marino that believes there was necessary for him to return to the Dan Marino of old, because he doesn't feel anything's changed.
That was no smile. That was a smirk. The Dan Marino of old, and that's what he did. He looked right in the camera and he went, almost rolling his eyes, saying, this is exactly what I've been saying. I've been playing this way all along. My teammates, my offensive players, other people haven't been making plays. I've been making plays. But he's too much of a man to come out and say that. But that is the simple truth. Once again, they couldn't run the football at all today.
And Sam, this is a good win for the Miami Dolphins because it's one they absolutely needed to have.
Well, this was their measuring stick. We said going into it that if they could beat this team, they're looking at a wild card spot, probably not a division championship. But you know what's interesting there? He's helping design plays. Now, did you catch that little part there? I was asking for this. I think Dan Marino's just going to step right in and do his thing all the way through the rest of this year.
And what's on tap for Dan Marino and the Dolphins next week? The New York Jets. Our NFL and NBC halftime activities continue.
Ripped from the headlines as only Law and Order can tell it. Why would two college students take the life of their newborn child?
You had decided to kill your baby when you reserved the hotel room.
The verdict will stun you. Law and Order, NBC Wednesday.
He's holding my wife hostage.
If your house was broken into, how would you defend yourself?
Put it down.
Sharon Martin's 5 Desperate Hours, NBC tonight.
From Idaho's News Channel 7, this is Community in Action.
Do you know what makes live theater tick? The Idaho Theater for Youth has many volunteer opportunities for you to help create positive theater experiences for youth across our state. To volunteer, call 343-1260. The Caldwell Meals on Wheels program needs volunteers to deliver meals to those in need. If you can help, call 454-8142. This is Community in Action.
But visiting the hall in Canton, Ohio is every bit as much of a thrill. 5 buildings capturing the drama and emotion of all the great plays and players, to say nothing of the great coaches. The hands-on interactive exhibits are great fun. And this state-of-the-art turntable theater, Game Day Stadium, is an awesome experience. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It's a real kick.
This is Barry Sanders Field.
Where he learned to run.
Where we learned his moves. He spins, he jukes.
He's like crazy, you know. Barry used to play flag football. He said if someone can't grab your flag,
there's no way they'll ever be able to tackle you.
He's like a pinball.
This is Barry Sanders Field,
where we learn to play. Football is football no matter where you play.
And welcome back to Seattle. Don Criqui with Jim Mora. As the Seahawks, favored on their home field, find themselves trailing the Tennessee Oilers 10-0. Derek Mason and Ronnie Harmon are back. This is the first kickoff return of the day for the Oilers. Returning a lot of kickoffs, usually you're not doing very well, right, Jim?
That's right.
Here is the rookie Derek Mason from Michigan State, turning it up and out and somehow finding his way down the far sideline across the 30-yard line, so he gives Tennessee very good field position. As we look at the Coors Light halftime statistics,
a couple of key ones here, Don, is the rushing yardage. Tennessee has 19, and I think, too, is time of possession. One of the things that Tennessee wanted to do was to keep that Seattle offense off the field, and they've got 17.5 minutes to 12.5 for Seattle.
going to have you work on your circles a little better.
I know I'm not doing so good there.
It's actually the machines. The guy was a straight A's, made straight A's in school, but his B's were a little crooked, huh?
That's a good one.
As we have McNair, who's been a good one in the first half. He's made some terrific plays handing off. They're the workmanlike bulldog of a fullback, Eddie George. Interesting, Jim, in the first half, the Seahawks only ran the ball 6 times. It's pretty tough to win a game when you're only running it 6 times.
It really is, and I think they really ought to run it some more the second half because the Oilers are playing a little bit different style of defense. They're playing off. They're not playing that 8-man front, and it could open up the running game for the Seahawks.
Right now, though, it is the Tennessee Oilers that have the ball. McNair on 2nd and 9 throws a fastball, well positioned to make a play on the ball, and almost doing it was the middle linebacker Dean Wells of the Seattle Seahawks. Number 95. He was looking at Chris Sanders.
Chris Sanders has been a little bit quiet today. You know, I really think the key to this first half has been the play of Steve McNair. I think he's played an outstanding first half. He's made some excellent plays. He's shown his leadership. He's shown his poise. I'm sure the players have a lot of confidence in him. I think he's just done a tremendous job so far.
He's shown a lot of leadership, and right now he's led his team to a 10-0 lead. And McNair on 3rd down stands in. Here comes the rush. McNair fires and reaching out of the ball and living very dangerously. Coming off the flank was number 85, Derek Russell.
You know, one of the things we're talking about McNair, Don, and Jeff Fisher told us, he said, you know, McNair, and they all love this guy, but as a leader and all, but he's a quiet leader. He's not very vocal. But McNair said this week, he says, you know, we got to get going here. We've lost 3 in a row. And he says, if somebody's got to holler at somebody, he says, I'm going to have to step up and do it. And he stepped up. I don't know if he's hollered at the guys, but he stepped up and been a leader. And he's a true leader, no question about it.
Here's Reggie Roby ready to punt as he booms the ball downfield to Tyree Davis, who's the brother of Willie Davis. Tyree fair catching at the 18. So the Seahawks will try again on offense when we come back.
Welcome to Park Avenue, the ultimate urban environment. So quiet, it shuts out urban unpleasantness. So beautiful, it improves the neighborhood. Even the most elegant street in America, which, incidentally, seems to have been named after our new car. The all-new Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement.
Reaching your financial goals can be a complex balancing act. At the Principal Financial Group, you will find the strength of our investment performance is your 401k retirement advantage. You'll find our flexibility will meet your insurance needs. And you'll find the balance of choice and quality you need in health coverage. For over 100 years, the Principal has made the complex simple. That's how we give you an edge. The Principal.
Well, folks, Doug is the man. Doug took this place global. Doug made commitments around the world. Doug convinced me to risk it all. And it was Doug who shipped everything with some company I'd never heard of. Screwed the whole thing up. And that's why Doug is locked up in the closet. Hello? You okay in there, buddy?
Next time, make it FedEx, the most reliable express company there is.
Can I come out now? No, Doug. I'm not finished singing your praises.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite, now official beer sponsor of the NFL. By the all-new Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement. By fast, reliable FedEx, it's the way the world works. And by the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
A beautiful shot of, what is it, Jim?
Snoqualmie Falls, about an hour's drive east of Seattle. Beautiful up there. I've never gone over it in a barrel, but it's a beautiful waterfall.
Looking at it, I wouldn't do it. I've seen guys do it at Niagara Falls. That's the last we've seen of them.
I've never even seen Niagara Falls. There's Dennis Erickson on your screen. he told us, as you mentioned, Don, at the beginning of the game, what an important game this was, a do-or-die game. And when we talked to him the other day, you know, they were coming off a tough loss last week at Kansas City, where they've never had much success anyway, but they played their hearts out, played very well, but lost the game. And he says, I want to see how our team reacts to that. And he thought they had a great week of practice. He said the enthusiasm was good, the concentration was good, but they haven't looked very good today.
Well, I know you're a proponent, Jim, of the opening drive of the third quarter being very important. So we'll see what Seattle can do on their opening drive. They get a short pass to Carl-Lester Crumpler. Are they going to wave it off? Apparently they are. And that brings up 3rd and 10. As we look at the first half possessions for the Seahawks, boy, not much to be happy about for Coach Erickson. Punt, 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 and fumble.
You know, normally you'll get 11 or 12, 10, 11, 12 possessions in a game. They've only had 4 in the first half. One of the problems is that the Oilers have been controlling the football, controlling time of possession.
And Moon, who wanted to go downfield, all of a sudden has got to look at his tight end as this game wears on. He's having a problem finding an open man. Now he goes to Crumpler. There's a beautiful play. It is the tight end, but it's a first down. And Warren Moon took a shot on the lower leg, and he's up, but looks to be all right. Somebody said Carl-Lester Crumpler. It sounds like an expensive dessert.
Well, they had the blitz on. They were coming with 7. And Carl-Lester Crumpler right there is going to come down the middle, being covered by number 57, Lanoy Jones, a tight end on a linebacker. Moon made a nice pass. Carl-Lester had a step on him. Good reception right there. There he is again. Nobody bothered him when he came off the ball. He had a clean release.
25-yard gain, and 15 more is tacked on. Boy, it's...
You know, yeah, that was number 24, Steve Jackson, coming in from the right side on the blitz. And one thing that they're concerned about here is people coming after quarterbacks low. That's a hit there that might be a fine. Gene Washington might tack a fine there on Steve Jackson.
Gene, the vice president of football operations, he looks at those things and passes out the fines for the NFL. As the handoff now goes to Steve Broussard, and he's down to the 31-yard line. Marcus Roberts in the last line of defense makes the stop for the Oilers, so all of a sudden the Seahawks pick up big plays.
This is Broussard's first run of the game, and as you mentioned earlier, 2 weeks ago he came in the San Diego game. The Seahawks had 2 yards rushing the first half. He came in the third quarter, rushed for 72 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. Erickson said, hey, he gave us a spark. I think that's what he's trying to get out of him today.
And that, Jim, was the first rushing first down of this game for Seattle.
They haven't been running the ball much or very well either.
Let's see what they do now on first down and 10. They go to the run, and Broussard, not a big back, but he has tremendous quickness, able to spot a gap and shoot into it. Baron Wortham knocks him down, but Broussard did get ahead for plus yardage to the 26-yard line. He got 4.
What Broussard does here well is he gets yards after the first hit. As you said, he's not very big. He's on the short side, but he weighs about 200 pounds, and he's a strong back. Right there, he makes another 4 or 5 yards after the tackle. The Oilers got to do a better job of tackling.
That has been a nemesis of every losing team, the inability to hit and wrap and make the stop. As Warren Moon with a 3-step drop. He's so hard to sack. They have sacked him once today, but the reason he gets rid of the ball so fast, as Dennis Erickson says, he drops back, and you know the ball's going to be away in a hurry.
Well, that's the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, and he was telling us yesterday how hard he works. He says he comes in every morning at 5:30. And Tuesday, which is the main game planning day for coaching staffs in the NFL, he says he works till about 1 a.m. Then he comes in at 5:30 on Wednesday, and Wednesday is a real busy day for him. They work on their third down game plan, their short yardage goal line. He says he got home at 2:30 Thursday morning. He looked at 2, didn't he?
This guy has to think about a cot in the office. Here's a throw and a catch. It is Mike Pritchard, and he's heading down to the 5-yard line. As Mike Pritchard makes a big play, it's a first down for the Seahawks, and the Kingdom is ignited now. They've not scored yet today, but they're close.
Going to hit Pritchard with a little hook route. Right there, the defensive back falls down. Jackson fell down. That's why he caught the ball. But what they're doing here is they're trying to throw shorter routes now. They came out earlier in the game with the deep routes, and the Oilers are playing that zone, so they're going with the shorter routes, and it seems to be working.
Just quick drops, short routes. plus yardage. First and goal for Seattle. Down 10-0. Another quick drop and a throw. And the rush was coming hard. Moving in was James Roberson, number 90. Putting the heat on Warren Moon and forcing the errant throw. So the clock is stopped with 10:48 to play in the third quarter.
I think it's vital that the Seahawks get, well, they're going to get something here. If they don't turn the ball over, something drastic happen, they're going to get some points. But I really think it's vital they get a touchdown out of this drive. As you said, this was the opening drive of the second half for them. If they can come out of here with a touchdown, just be down 10-7, they're going to feel pretty good about themselves.
They started on their 19-yard line. This is the 9th play of the drive for the Seahawks. Down 10-0. And Warren Moon is knocked down way back at the 23-yard line.
They had a blitz coming on that play. Lonnie Martz coming from the right side, the left side of your screen. You're going to see him come in there right there. He hits Moon. Got to get Moon down. He's got a good shot at him. He's got to get him down right there. Number 58, Joe Bowden, eventually did.
Ball at the 21-yard line as Seattle now breaks the huddle, sending 2 wide receivers high. They'll be on the top of your screen and wide to the right. Near side down below is Mike Pritchard. Lone setback is Broussard. Warren Moon takes a look. End zone throw. 2 guys go for it. And nobody gets it. Almost a pick. Almost an interception, a pickoff as they're called in the NFL. James McKnight was the intended receiver. And Josh Evans, number 91, was the guy who was in Warren Moon's face.
Darrell Lewis, the right corner for Tennessee, should have had an interception right there. He had good position on the receiver. He had his hands on the ball. Should have come down with it.
Todd Peterson now comes out to try a field goal. He is 5 of 7 for the season. Long as you see a 44 yards. The hold here will be at the 29. A 39-yard attempt. Snap and set down. All good. And so is Peterson's kick. So the Seahawks with an extended opening drive in the third quarter. Don't take it in, but they do get points and trail 10-3.
There's no question that computers open up entirely new worlds. But what about children who live in a world that can't afford personal computers? Fortunately, as of today, we'll never have to ask that question again. Network computers allow everyone to join the information age. And we'd like to say, welcome, Oracle, enabling the information age.
Welcome to Park Avenue. A place where simple elegance resides. A place where the power of understatement is understood. Welcome to the all-new Park Avenue by Buick. The power of understatement.
Another Nokia discovery. Small words are hard to read, which is why at Nokia we make our screens big, so they're easier to read. Inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia, connecting people.
Next Wednesday, catch the series premiere of Working.
I'm very happy to be here, Mr. Deal. No, please call me Tim. Nobody around here pulls any power trips. Have a seat in a little chair.
Don't miss the series premiere of Working, starring Fred Savage on NBC Wednesday. The Seahawks with an extended drive, 11 plays, culminating in a 38-yard field goal. Now trail 10-3. They kick off, booming the ball downfield, and it will skip out of bounds as the penalty flag is thrown with 10:01 to go in the third quarter. So Peterson just got points, but now he gives the Tennessee Oilers very good field position, Jim.
Right. They get the ball 30 yards from where he kicked it. It's a tough penalty nowadays. They changed this a few years ago. When you kick that ball out of bounds,
it's a real tough penalty.
It's a real tough penalty. They get the ball on their 40. That's almost midfield. 30 yards from where the ball was kicked. Of course, you kick off from your own 30. So the Oilers take over on their own 40-yard line. That gives them excellent field position to start this drive.
There really is good reason for these kickers to be people who talk to themselves, wander the streets and mumble. But when they're out there alone, the whole world jumps on them when they do something wrong. A mild clap of the hands when they boom a 48-yard field goal. Here's a throw and a catch, and the short-handed Wycheck gets the ball out to the 48-yard line, where he's taken down by Chad Brown. Jim Moore, there's a lot of interaction that people don't know about between the officials and the head coach before the game. What are some of the things you discuss? They always come by, I know.
Yeah, about an hour before the game, the two officials will come by each head coach's office or locker room at the stadium, and they'll give you the correct time. They'll want to know who your captains are. They'll want to know if your quarterback's right-handed or left-handed, because that determines where the referee stands. They want to know whether your kickers are right-footed or left-footed, because that determines where the referee stands back there. He'll always stand on the side. If the quarterback's right-handed, the referee's going to stand on the right side. If the quarterback's left-handed, he's going to stand on the left side. That gives him a better shot or a better vision if it's a roughing the passer or intentional grounding to call things like that. Same thing with the punter or a kicker. He's going to stand on the side of a right-footed or a left-footed. He's going to stand on that side. Those are the things you talk about. It's not very long, and if you have any questions about rules, or if you have anything to say about maybe you've seen something the team you're playing, like maybe they've done something the week before that you didn't think was quite within the rules, you can bring it up to the officials at that time. They'll listen to you on that, but it usually doesn't do much good.
They're tough to lobby, huh?
You can't lobby these guys. I mean, you just can't. They do a good job, and if they admit the fact that maybe something happened the week before, or somebody is getting away with something that they shouldn't be, then that's a little bit of a reflection on the job they do, and they don't want to admit that. But they're good officials. They do a good job, and they're always very cordial, very professional. These guys are very, very professional.
Dick Hantek, our referee today. That was Derek Russell, who caught the ball down to the 45-yard line of Seattle for a Tennessee Oilers first down. 8:05 to play in the third quarter. Oilers, who led 10-0 at halftime, now leading 10-3. Ronnie Harmon starts to move right in motion as McNair takes a look at him, throws the ball downfield. Nicely timed throw, but Chris Sanders coming back at the ball, another of those standouts from Ohio State, unable to take it in as he waves to McNair, saying, give me a little bit more up on the ball.
Yeah, I believe on that play, what should have happened there, I think McNair should put a little bit more zip on that ball. He kind of floated that thing out there. Sanders was open, but it took a little bit too long for that ball to get there. Just kind of floated. He's got to put some zip on it. See that right there, how it floats? When you throw those out routes like that, you got to zing that ball out there.
Let them float too much. They're going back the other way for touchdowns.
Yeah, real quick.
Well, McNair has a powerful arm. He can put pop on it if need be. This is a third down play, so he'll be throwing. Now Willie, he hands off. He goes to Rodney Thomas, who is ahead to the 40-yard line. There was actually a second down run on 2nd and 10, and he gets the ball down to the 40-yard line of the Seahawks. Big Sam Adams, a #1 draft choice 4 years ago out of Texas A&M, number 98, makes the stop.
It's good to see Rodney Thomas. There's Sam Adams right there, and he's having a good season, as we mentioned earlier, but it's good to see Rodney Thomas get some action and some carries, because he's an excellent back. Just has the unfortunate situation of playing behind Eddie George. But when he's in there, he usually makes yards and does good things.
Rodney Thomas played with Sam Adams at Texas A&M. They were teammates. McNair against a big rush. They're now shooting nickel and dime backs at Steve McNair. We have blitzers coming from the Seahawk defense, and that time they got to McNair and forced an errant pass as he taps Bellamy on the head. Nice play.
Jay Bellamy, when they go into their nickel or dime defense, when they've got like 6 defensive backs in there, Bellamy is what they call the dime position. He plays up on the slot back or the tight end, which puts him in a good position to blitz from. So they've been blitzing him quite a bit today from that nickel or dime position.
Big Reggie Roby, he's as big as any linebacker or fullback out there. The long-range punter, Tyree Davis, is back as Roby hits the ball very high. Beautifully executed punt by a guy who's been to the Pro Bowl for his punting ability. And the ball is fair caught at the 22. Seahawks have it when we come back.
They came to our planet. They destroyed our cities. But on November 7th, they'll learn They messed with the wrong species. Starship Troopers, rated R. Opens everywhere November 7th.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do.
It's what you want.
My ancestor dreamt of winning the Highlands Open.
But his golf wasn't up to par. So he designed a wider golf club for better control of his drive.
Truly, wider is better.
Improve your drive with the Wide-Track Grand Prix Sports Sedan. Its unique Wide-Track design sets the wheels wider for better control on any course.
My family crest still bears the proverb, Nash Lehav, Nasher.
The Wide-Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better.
You're watching the NFL on NBC.
An elder statesman, Warren Moon, soon to be 41 years old. He'll be 41 in November, among the oldest QBs in the NFL. In fact, he is the oldest QB.
You know, both Warren Moon and Dave Craig, the reason they're still playing is they keep themselves in tremendous physical condition. You can see Dave Craig right there. You know, not an ounce of fat on them. They work hard in the offseason. Been lucky as far as injuries are concerned. That's why they're still playing.
You can last forever as a backup.
Yes, you can.
Never heard on Monday. Here is Broussard breaking into open field, and Steve Broussard is on the run. He's not done. It's a foot race now, and it looks like Broussard's going to win it. Steve Broussard, the comeback kid, goes the distance, and they're an extra point away from tying the game. "77 yards. That shows you what that clean living will do for you.
Yeah, you know what? It's so great to see a young man like Steve Broussard do something like that. After listening to his story yesterday, you know, I'm very happy for him. Great cut right there. He's got that darting ability and that great ability to cut back. Now he's got tremendous speed. When he was in high school, you mentioned he went to a high school in southwest Los Angeles, a tough school, Manual Arts High School. He was the state 100-yard meter champion in high school, so he's got good speed.
Well, he looked it there. He hasn't lost a step either. So Broussard, 77 yards for the tying touchdown.
So then Doris is driving it, and she says, "But Elliot, I can't feel the road." And I said, "But what do you expect? It's a luxury car." Anyway, we then drive it down the road. Have you ever driven down?
Bored with traditional luxury? It could be time for the supercharged Bonneville, one of the world's most powerful sports sedans.
Do you drive a luxury car, Frank?
You bet your ascot I do. Luxury with attitude. The Bonneville by Pontiac.
Jim Harbaugh and Jay Lewenberg for 1-800-COLLECT.
Jim, next time you call me collect, call me 1-800-COLLECT. Jay, give it a rest. No, 1-800-COLLECT saves me up to 44%. Yeah? Are we going to practice or what? You should have used 1-800-COLLECT! Think Jim's learned his lesson? One more play ought to do it. 1-800-COLLECT. Save up to 44%.
A single dad working at home. How hard could it be?
You and a girl.
Get organized, and it's simple. At the plumber, it's all new. Tony Danza, followed by Built to Last, NBC Wednesday.
The whole Seahawk line does a nice job of blocking right here. Everybody gets a hat on an Oiler defender. Number 66, Derek Graham, does a nice job on 52. Wortham, the linebacker. But what makes the play go all the way is right there. Number 23, Blaine Bishop, misses a tackle on Broussard. He's able to take it all the way for a touchdown. Those defensive backs have got to keep leverage on those runners, make high open field tackles, make sure they just get him down. Doesn't have to be a perfect tackle, just get him down.
And this crowd at the Kingdome is almost blowing the lid off the building, as now Derek Mason is knocked down after a short return. Coming down to make a special teams play is Fred Thomas, number 22, who celebrates his brief moment of success in this game.
We talked about Broussard giving the team a spark against San Diego. How about a spark now, Don? They really look fired up, don't they? The way they covered that kickoff.
77-yard touchdown run by Broussard from scrimmage, the second longest run in franchise history. The longest, an 86-yard end around by Joey Galloway.
That's great to see him. I mean, what a great kid. Look how strong. Look at those arms on him.
Yeah,
he's 200 pounds. Look at those arms. Look like yours.
Something like mine. Something like my legs. You don't get those by riding away either. That's a lot of time in the weight room by Broussard. As the handoff now comes to the near side, and Eddie George is cut down at about the 21-yard line.
False start. Offense, left guard, prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Now, Jeff Fisher is asking, where are my big plays? I need them now.
That's a big margin there in average drive start. Tennessee almost twice as much yardage. They started their drives today have started average of their own 30-yard line, where Seattle from their own 19. But right here, the Seattle defense has got the Oiler offense backed up on their own 18-yard line. So this drive start is going to take a little bit away from that average.
The Seahawks in blue with 10 unanswered points in the third quarter to tie the game. 10-10. McNair, timing throw, fires it in. Sanders makes the play. He's knocked down, but he does have a first down. He had possession of the ball at the 26-yard line. Tackled by Willie Williams.
Now they're going to catch this ball. Sanders is just going to come down and run a little hitch or in route. And the Seahawks are in zone coverage, but they do a great job there. Both Darrell Williams, 33, and 27, Willie Williams, of coming up and making a good tackle. Knocking that ball out of there. Well, they knocked it out of there eventually, but good job of reacting on the thrown ball, coming up, making a good, strong tackle.
So the Raiders rallying back. They were down 9-0. They now trail 12-10 to San Diego. They're playing at Oakland. Second down arises. The Tennessee Oilers need 6 from their 27-yard line. McNair got away for the moment, but then he swept under. Michael Sinclair swept him under, number 70.
Michael Sinclair is the best pass rusher on that Seahawk defense, and there he is right there coming from the left side of your screen. All he does is he beats Runyon right there, just right outside, just ran right by him. We said earlier, Runyon's going to beat Runyon, come right by him right there, kind of hesitates a little bit. Runyon stops his feet, came right by him to the outside, makes the sack.
So now the pressure's on Steve McNair on the Tennessee Oiler offense. Third down, they need almost 11. Big rush. Marker's down, and so is McNair back at the 15 as the Seahawks call an all-out blitz. Chad Brown led the way. 94.
What they do with Chad Brown, he's normally a linebacker, but when they get into their nickel schemes, which they were in there on 3rd and long, they put him as a defensive right end, and he can really come off that corner. Great speed and quickness, and he can beat. He does a good job there of beating the offensive left tackle.
False start prior to the snap.
Whoa.
The center started to move the ball, returned it, and then snapped. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Rarely is a penalty a break for the team committing it, but it was there.
It happens sometimes. Here's Chad Brown, bottom of your screen, and he's going to come hard. Now he's lined up over a tight end. Let's see what that tight end does. He's either going to release or block. Oh, he just slow coming on. The offensive line was slow. See, they came after this. The ball was snapped. The offensive line was still sitting there. That's why Brown got that great jump.
Third down, and the Oilers need 15. McNair, not even close, as the Broussard touchdown run has just energized this whole building and all of his teammates as their defense playing its absolute best at the moment.
Here's Willie Williams, number 27. He's going to blitz from a defensive backfield position, completely untouched. Number 72, Brad Hopkins, didn't block anybody right there. He should have picked Williams up. I love to see the Seahawk defense blitzing more this game. They hadn't done hardly any of it up to this point. They did the first 2 games, got burned, didn't blitz at all for 3 games, and now they're coming with the blitz. This is going to help them if they can do this the rest of the season and do it well and not get hurt by it.
Here is Tyree Davis fielding a long punt by Roby, and not much room for Tyree to work with. So he dives ahead to the 35, and that's where the Seahawks will go back on offense.
Teammates sponsored by the U.S. Army. Be part of our team in the Army.
Concentrate, let's go, let's get better.
Under rookie head coach Kevin Gilbride and the veteran leadership of Stan Humphries and Junior Seau, the Chargers do hope to get better.
Humphries deep drop the throw, lots of time, goes for the end zone, touchdown San Diego!
Gilbride's genius on offense could bring San Diego success in 1997.
It's freezing, it's quiet, but you get used to it. You grow to love it.
Snow Fox 2-1, this is Snow Fox base. This is Snow Fox 2-1.
Then a storm comes up, and I'm the one who's got to get us out of here. And I remember who gave me courage. This is for them. For my mom and dad, who never missed a game. For Drill Sergeant McCardle, who showed me what it takes to be a leader.
Visual contact, Sergeant.
And for myself, who became one.
What's an e-business?
What's an e-business?
E-business.
I don't know.
What's an e-business? I don't know.
Professional builders, people who make a living with their tools, prefer to buy their tools at the Home Depot more than any other store in America. And whether it's the selection, the quality brands we offer, or our guaranteed commitment to the lowest prices, we think it's a pretty powerful argument for why you should shop here too. The Home Depot, where people who know their stuff buy their stuff.
The tide has turned here in Seattle in the third quarter, where the Seahawks on their home field came out trailing 10-0 after a first half of play, and now they have tied the game and they had the ball again at their 35-yard line.
Right, and their last 2 possessions, they did not start with good field position, but converted both possessions into points.
I don't know what Coach Erickson said at halftime, Jim, but he said the right things.
Got him going.
We'll see if they can keep going now on first down and 10. Warren Moon play fakes. He looks over the middle and he throws a strike. Ball is completed to Brian Blades down to the 46-yard line. A gain on the play of 19 yards and a first down. A big weekend coming up in 2 weeks on NBC. Saturday starts off with Michael Jordan and the Bulls taking part of the McDonald's Championship in Paris. Then one of the great rivalries in college sports continues as Southern California goes to Notre Dame. Plus the World Series opener in prime time. That's all on NBC. Big hit and the right arm throw of Warren Moon as he triggers it again, dumps it over the middle. He gets his man Broussard. And he's to the 40-yard line, a gain on a first down play of 6, almost 7 yards. Blaine Bishop makes the stop.
The Seahawks are playing just about every offensive snap with 3 wide receivers in the game and 1 running back. And this is forcing the Oilers to get into their nickel defense right away. That last play, it was 1st and 10. The Seahawks had 3 wide receivers in the game. The Oilers went to a nickel defense and actually ran a zone blitz right there.
That's a nice per carry average, almost 31 a pop. 77 coming on that tying touchdown run by Steve Broussard. Moon again threading it in beautifully to Max Strong as we go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Donna, we'll take you to Oakland, where Jeff George from the 30-yard line, a little toss to Napoleon Kaufman, and Kaufman does the rest. 70-yard touchdown to pull Oakland to within 2 at 12-10. But Gary Brown has just gone 1 yard for a touchdown for the Chargers. And with the extra point, San Diego's lead is 19-10 in the third. Don?
Thank you, Greg. So big game going on at Oakland, and there's one here involving one of the AFC West teams, the Seattle Seahawks, trying to take the lead. They have the ball, first and 10, 10-10 game. Here's a throw and a catch, and McKnight falls on the field. Who's got it? Looks like the Oilers have taken the ball back. So a huge play that if McKnight maintained possession would have given the Seahawks first and goal inside the 10 has Dennis Erickson talking to himself in exasperation.
They've got James McKnight, the wide receiver, matched up on 23, Blaine Bishop right there, wide out on a safety, and they complete the pass. But Blaine Bishop does a great job of stripping the ball out there, and then he actually falls on and gets the fumble. That's the second turnover they've got today. They came into this game with the fewest turnovers in the league, only 3, all fumble recoveries. They've had 2 today. Jeff Fisher told us, he says, hey, what we do best, or what we've done best in the past, is we get the ball away. We take it away. We get turnovers. And they hadn't done a very good job up to this point.
Came at a huge time, the turnover. But now the Oilers have the long field to go in this tie game, third quarter. 2:29 to play in it. Big Eddie George. Not a whole lot going on in the heart of the Seattle defense as a linebacker, Chad Brown. It was a well-spent $13+ million they used to sign Chad Brown as an unrestricted free agent from the Steelers, as he has been a standout his first year in Seattle, just as he was in Pittsburgh.
You know, what we asked Dennis Erickson yesterday, we said, well, are you happy with Chad Brown? You spent a lot of money on him. Are you happy with him? And he said, very. He says he's getting better every week.
Chad Brown's a guy that gives you everything he's got every down. He has only one speed, pedal to the metal, flat out. As the handoff again goes, and Eddie George thrown back. See where they'll spot his forward progress. Winston Moss, the veteran outside linebacker, a former Raider from Miami of Florida, took Eddie George all the way back to the goal line, but they'll spot his forward progress further upfield.
Well, there was absolutely nowhere to run right there, and what the Seahawk defensive linemen did good there, they got into those offensive linemen, and they pushed them back. Watch them push back Stepnowski. Watch them push back Bruce Matthews right there. They just pushed him back into the offensive backfield. It's hard to get any kind of a run going when that happens. Excellent run defense there by the Seattle Seahawks.
Couldn't have been better, and now a very difficult play call for Steve McNair and the Oilers as they are backed up almost to their 5-yard line. They have third down coming up. They need 12, and they're going to use a timeout to make sure they are all on the same page as games turn on plays like this one coming up. There is Greg McMackin, the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. This week, the defensive linemen had their annual dinner, which he was at. They have position dinners, the various position players. The 3 on the defense, he said, Jim. The linebackers have one, the defensive backs. He says, as coordinator, I get to go to all 3.
Right, he's lucky. We asked him if they invited Dennis Erickson. He says, you know, I don't think we invited him, but he says, I'm sure he could come if he wanted to. He also mentioned that, like you said, the defensive line meeting was Friday night. Tez Kennedy, he ordered catfish from Arkansas, had it sent out for the dinner Friday night.
Had it flown in.
And they had the dinner at Tommy Brazier's house. Tommy Brazier's the defensive line coach. It was the defensive line meeting. They invite the wives, some of the kids. It's just kind of a camaraderie building type of event. I think it means a lot to the players, and it's good to let the players see the coaches in that kind of an environment.
Right now we have a very difficult environment for Steve McNair and the Oiler offense. Third down, 13. Here comes the rush. McNair stands in, lets a long ball go. A man is out there, but he cannot quite get to the ball. Willie Davis on the fly, as McNair shows the unbelievable arm strength he has, rifling the ball about 70 yards in the air, but there was too much on it even for the very fast Willie Davis.
Well, he was going, they're trying to get Willie Davis deep down there. Darrell Williams, the free safety, is out there covering him. That's a little bit unusual when you get a free safety covering a wide receiver like that. Davis had him beat, but the pass was thrown a little bit too long.
Now Seattle will come up with perhaps excellent field position. Tyree Davis is back. Roby will punt for Tennessee from his end zone. Line drive punt, hit downfield. It'll come back at Tennessee. Here's Tyree, gets one block and another. Here's the marker. The run comes back.
You know, that was a line drive kick. It wasn't a high kick. It was a line drive kick. And those are the best kind of return because you don't get your coverage down there very quickly. But we got a illegal block, I believe.
We do have that. The field judge was right there looking at it. I saw him go into his pocket.
Illegal block.
Don Carey, the field
return,
judge.
Number 22. First down.
The battle for the National League pennant begins Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, when the Marlins take on the Braves in Game 1 of the League Championship Series. That's Tuesday in prime time at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on NBC. Let's watch the block, Jim. You'll see it.
The block was by number 22, Fred Thomas. Yeah, he does hit him from behind. That's a pretty good call. That's a little bit, that's kind of close, but probably a pretty good call.
The official in position, as they always are, was about 3 feet away, looking right at it. Pitch back to Broussard, and he takes it to the 49-yard line on first down. Tackle on the play. Tacklers are led by Lonnie Martz and Gary Walker.
Jets got another win coming, looks like 13-3.
Arizona down 10-0 is ready to take the lead over the Vikings. And it looks like the Mariners season is about to end at Baltimore.
Arizona's playing good football. They've lost some close games, but they're playing good football. If they could beat the Vikings today, it'd be a big win for them.
They're in every game.
They play good defense, that's why.
Here's Warren Moon on second down, throwing, and the ball is broken up. McKnight coming back at the ball, couldn't get to it. And that'll do it for 3/4 of play. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Dateline Sunday, the Montserrat volcano. One man's obsession brought him to the edge. His eyewitness video of nature's fury.
Dateline tonight
on NBC.
You've heard about the better choice. You can count on us to have it. Just tell us what you want to say, and the chances are you'll save it. And we'll treat you right. Yes, we'll serve you best. Give you what you want. Where people count. Cruisers Roundtree Automotive. Come to the place where people count.
There are hundreds of area codes in the United States, and they keep multiplying. So if you want to find a business in Boston, a hotel in LA, or your aunt in Chicago, it can be frustrating. But now you can find any listed number anywhere in the country with just one local call. Introducing 1411. It's not just local.
Hey, I found you.
It's National Directory Assistance from US West. Here, simple beats complicated every time. Life's better here. US West.
The NBA is on the way to the Treasure Valley. On Monday, October 20th, professional basketball debuts at the new Idaho Center when the Denver Nuggets face the Washington Wizards. See the stars and feel the excitement of the NBA. Tickets are on sale right now at the Idaho Center or at any select-a-seat location. And watch for details on how you might win a brand new car from Sundance Dodge. The 1997 Idaho Center Shootout is presented by Les Schwab Tires and Idaho's News Channel 7.
Thank you for watching Idaho's News Channel 7, where the news comes first.
The authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
One thing you need against a drop-back passer like Warren Moon is a good push from your middle people. Number 91, Josh Evans, playing left tackle right there, just pushes strongly up the middle, gets in Warren's face, and gets the hit on him. You don't have to be real fancy in there. All you got to do is be strong and keep getting upfield. Keep working your feet upfield. Don't stop your feet. Push that pile back towards the quarterback, and that's what he did right there.
John Kitna has been warming up. Warren's going to stay in the game. There's John Kitna from Central Washington, who had an absolutely phenomenal preseason. He's a free agent. was the most valuable player of the World Football League Championship game and second in the league in the MVP battling of the World League. This guy can really play. Young, untested in the regular season. Freeze went out opening week. Warren Moon stepped in with his kitten as a guy that can light it up also. Third down. Moon stands in, makes the throw, and the connection. Beautifully done by the Seahawks. And Mike Pritchard comes back at the ball. First down play for Seattle.
One of the things that Warren Moon likes about Mike Pritchard is he runs precise routes. If he's supposed to run 14, 15 yards, he'll run 14, 15 yards. Great route right there. He pushed the defensive back upfield, came back to the sidelines, and a good throw by Warren Moon right on the money.
Jeff Fisher was talking about his route runners. He said, we've got guys running 10-yard outs when they're supposed to be running 14-yard outs. If they do it this week, they're going to be running them somewhere else.
That's what he said. Yeah, I'm sure he means it.
It's first down for Seattle in this tie game. Opening moments of the fourth quarter, and there goes Broussard. He's not done. Broussard again. Steve Broussard. 43 yards to go along with a 77-yarder. He's taken the breath away from his coach, Dennis Erickson, as well as everybody else in the building.
You know, there's been a little bit of a running back controversy here between Chris Warren and Lamar Smith. I think that's over.
I think it is.
I think Broussard's the guy.
Well, he's averaging 35 yards a run. I think in this day.
Every time he's been in there this year, he's done a great job. Tremendous game today. There's Chris Warren congratulating him right there. You want to... And Lamar Smith congratulating him.
The comeback kid, Steve Broussard, who turned his life around, has carried the day so far for the Seahawks as they were down 10-0. And now, a difficult play as Tootin throws an incomplete pass, but so the score will now be 16-10. Now that missed extra point, a botched attempt, looms very large. Should the Oilers be able to get it in the end zone and kick an extra point? There won't be any overtime today, Jim. The first game will have done together. There hasn't been overtime.
They might kick 2 field goals.
That's right. It will be overtime.
This is just a nice job of running by Broussard. What he does there, he's got great, he can change his direction so quickly. Plus, he breaks the tackle right there. Look at the legs on him. He's got big, strong legs. He's a powerful runner. He's got great quickness, excellent speed. Where's he been when he's not in the, he hadn't played hardly at all. Look at him. Good hole, had good blocking. See him break the tackle right there? Good running.
5 carries for 139 yards, including touchdown runs of 77 and 43 yards.
It's like he kind of had an attitude right there. I'm getting in that end zone. Nobody's going to get me down. That's the way he ran.
He's 5'7", 201 pounds. And as you pointed out, Jim, he was a state 100-meter champion in Los Angeles as a high school student. A tremendous individual. Inspiring guy to talk to as he tells you his personal comeback story. And he's written the game story here today for Seattle. They've scored touchdowns twice, and he's been on the payoff end with both. Long runs from scrimmage.
When you win the state championship in California, you're beating a lot of fast guys.
Boy, are you. The Raiders have another former champion in Napoleon Kaufman. Here's Derek Mason running it back. And he is down at the 17-yard line, so there's no place for the rookie from Michigan State to go. The lead tackler was Tyree Davis.
Well, there's no question that Steve Broussard has given the Seahawk team the spark this second half. After both of his touchdown runs, the kickoff coverage by the Seahawk coverage teams have been outstanding. Both times they got tackles inside the 20-yard line. Right here, the Oilers are starting their drive on their own 19-yard line. Anytime as a kickoff coverage team you can tackle the ball carrier inside the 20, you're doing a good job. That's kind of the standard right there. Get him inside the 20, you're doing a good job.
Well, they did a good job. They have him at the 19, first down and 10. Play fake. McNair throw. Oh, man, he threw it precariously close to the on-rushing outside linebacker, Chad Brown. Well, they go to their bag of tricks, and that one almost blew up on them.
They faked the reverse to the wide receiver, Mel Gray. Mel Gray doesn't get to play much on offense, but he was in that time. They faked the reverse to him right there. and McNair's going to throw a screen pass to number 27, Eddie George, but he throws it too high. Chad Brown was in good position to make the play had they have completed it.
So a trick play on first down leaves McNair with 2nd and 10 at his 19. To Eddie George. Eddie George fighting for yards, works his way out to the 25-yard line, got 6 yards on the play, and that brings up 3rd down and 4 as Winston Moss. 55 was the tackler.
It's just a straight little draw play here to Eddie George, but the Seahawks do a good job of diagnosing it. You can see number 94 there, Chad Brown. He's kind of looking around to see where George is going, reacts to the ball, gets over there and gets in on the tackle. There's Chad Brown right there. He did a good job of diagnosing that play. Staying very patient back there as a linebacker.
He won't be patient now. They might be blitzing McNair on 3rd down and 4. They come with a 4-man rush. He swings it out. And they make the play to the Seahawks. Rodney Thomas gets the ball, and Benny Blades, who was shaken up earlier, looks like he got banged up again, but he made the play. A stop on 3rd down, and the Tennessee Oilers have to punt.
I really like Benny Blades. He's a very physical football player, very emotional football player. Right there, he was covering Rodney Thomas man for man, came up and made a great hit. He told us yesterday, he said, I'd rather hit guys than make interceptions. He says when you hit them, they remember you longer.
He looks more like the hittee today, though. Benny nursing some aches and pains as this wears on. Tyree Davis is back for the Seahawks. Booming punt hit downfield by Roby. From the 26, Tyree Davis breaks it up the middle. And he's in open field and finally caught at the 47-yard line of Tennessee. Tackled by Ronnie Harmon.
Hi, how can I help you? What's the difference between these phones? This is analog, and this is PCS, the latest digital mobile. Oh, why, you're Sprint certified. Make a free local call and hear how clear it is.
Where's your mother?
Trying out phones.
I better go help.
George, digital PCS phones are much clearer than analog. I heard Mother from Saturn, clear as a bell.
You need a phone for that?
The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Flight 57 now boarding.
Hey, Junior, we don't want to miss our curtain. I hope you've got Hertz #1 Club Gold.
Well, not exactly, but this company's fast. Oh, sure.
Can't we skip the rental counter like it hurts?
Well, not exactly. Duh.
Hey, genius, I'm waterlogged. Doesn't your company have a canopy like Hertz? Well, not exactly.
Remember, there's Hertz and there's not exactly. Choose the right one.
So you still think I'm the dummy?
Not exactly.
I have a lot of fun playing characters that are impulsive and dramatic. Because the real me is pretty basic. I'm even a little practical. Like a while back, I noticed I had some flakes. So naturally, I started using Head & Shoulders. Of course, it helps keep the flakes away. And if it leaves my hair looking like this, why mess with a good thing?
Head & Shoulders changes dandruff problems
Into beautiful hair.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Karen, the car navigation system from Philips Magnavox, by IBM, solutions for a small planet, by Michelin X1, because so much is riding on your tires, and by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
With Jim Mora, this is Don Criqui back at the Kingdome in Seattle, where Warren Moon and the Seahawks have rallied from behind in the second half, trailing at halftime to Tennessee 10-0. Seattle has taken a 16-10 lead. 2 long touchdown runs by Steve Broussard have keyed the Seattle comeback. And here's Broussard as they play fake to him. Now Moon lets it go long, and he's got a man, but just overshoots the very fast James McKnight. Maybe a foot short of a touchdown as San Diego, underdog, winning at Oakland.
Steve Jackson was covering McKnight there man-to-man, and McKnight had a step on him, but the ball was thrown just a little bit too long right there. Oh, get those arms out there, McKnight. Just stretch for that thing. He could have had that. He got to stretch. Got to get those hands out there. Do whatever it takes to catch that football.
You might like to see him dive at it.
Yeah, heck yeah. Like I say, do whatever it takes. Find a way to get it.
On 2nd and 10, Warren Moon's looking for a screen pass. It's Broussard. This time Broussard, he's not done, but he finally spins his way to the midfield line. Believe it or not, all that for a loss of 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 12. As the Miller summary of this game. The unexpected was Steve Broussard in this game summary with 5 rushes for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Moon's had a pretty good day. 21 of 32, 217 yards.
Bad at all. The Miller time game summary. And Broussard has been the player of the game. Warren Moon now ready to trigger from the shotgun. 3rd down and 13 coming up. Over the middle, makes the play. Ball on the field. Was it caught? It's incomplete. Darryl Hobbs, who coughed one up earlier, Jim, was the guy who had it and lost it.
Yeah, Darryl Hobbs was the player that they acquired in a trade from the New Orleans Saints this week. And Darrell Lewis has excellent coverage on him right there. There's no way you're going to get that in there. Good coverage. Good defensive secondary play by Darrell Lewis.
The Oiler pass defense, which was rated 30th and last in the NFL, doing much better today, but it's been the run defense that's allowed the 2 long touchdown runs to Broussard. Mel Gray comes up on the punt, makes the fair catch, and here's a penalty marker coming in late. With 11:24 left to play in the game. A couple of markers are down. Referee Dick Hantek getting the information, and now Dick Hantek.
While the punt was in the air, holding, number 29, will penalize in the dead ball spot, 1st down.
Now the penalty is against Tennessee. That'll set them deep in their own end when we come back.
What are you doing? I'm figuring out what our website should be. We could have a spinning logo, like this one. Or a flaming logo. It is cool.
You know what would be a great idea? If people with PCs anywhere could order our products, and that was all tied together, inventory, billing, vendors, you know, the works, then that would change everything.
I don't know how to do this.
Dave Thomas is on the coast, asking everyone about Wendy's new fresh stuffed pitas.
Your pitas are dreamy, Dave.
I thought you liked them.
Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas, the only way to describe them is
Fabulous.
The Craftsman Hardware Sale. It's what your home's been waiting for. 2 weeks of powerful savings. Like this Craftsman half-horsepower garage door opener, only $129.99. Or this Craftsman 6-drawer chest and cabinet, just $79.99. The tools that make anything possible are on sale. The Craftsman Hardware Sale at Sears, the biggest Craftsman tool savings of the season.
Bottom of the 9th, A's 4, Dodgers 3. High fly ball into right field. She is gone! The impossible has happened.
Well, you can see that Seattle did some adjustment at halftime. They're putting the clamps now in that Tennessee run defense right there. Only 11 yards the second half, and they've got 139. Most of those on the 2 long runs by Steve Broussard.
77 yards and 43 yards with the touchdown runs by Broussard. As the handoff goes, Eddie George, they're keying on 27 every snap of the ball. The Seahawk defense. Now you remember what they told us, Jim, and that was that Tennessee felt in the 4th quarter they would get to Seattle. They think they're a better conditioned football team, and that they'll break some big plays in the 4th quarter. We'll see.
Yeah, they thought they'd wear them down. You know, one of the reasons because the Seahawks are hurting a little bit with defensive linemen. Phillip Daniels, the starting right in, and of course Cortez Kennedy are both out of the game. That hurts their depth, and these guys that normally would alternate are having to play more in the game, and they get tired in the 4th quarter.
Now, a long way to go in the 4th quarter. 10 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Eddie George again breaks it back, and Eddie George finds his way on 2nd and 7. Ahead for a gain of about 10 yards and a first down. 11 yards on the play.
There's a lot of time left in this game. We've got 10.5 minutes, and the Oilers cannot get out of their game plan. They got to keep giving the ball to Eddie George. He does a nice job there of cutting back against the pursuit, picking up a good gain. Look at that cutback right there. He sees that opening and he hits it. That's what he does so well. Takes it upfield.
21 carries now for Eddie and a 79 yards gain. No touchdowns. His longest run just 12 yards, the last run. George pitches back. Here is a flea flicker. McNair airs it out, going for the ball. Chris Sanders intercepted by Darrell Williams, who had 3 interceptions 2 weeks ago against San Diego. He had 1 last week against the Chiefs, 1 today, so he's got 5 interceptions in the last 3 games, and that will get you to the Pro Bowl.
That sure will. You know, what the Oilers are doing here is they're a little gadget play, a flea flicker play. They're going to hand off to George as he's going to stop and flip it back there to Moon, and he's going to try to hit Chris Sanders on the right side of your screen on a long, deep route. But Darrell Williams was not fooled, playing very good disciplined defense right there like he's supposed to in that deep zone, and makes an excellent interception.
I often wonder, Jim, why don't I have some of these guys with hands like Darrell Williams playing on offense? Look at this catch.
Maybe he's too tough to play on offense. That's an old defensive coach saying that.
Usually say when a defensive back drops one, that's why he's playing defense. If you can catch it, he'd be on offense. But
that's right.
Darrell Williams obviously can catch it, and very well. Broussard on a first down run, as the Seahawks will now be looking to take some time off the clock. Going to the running plays. Darrell Williams catching his breath. Another Miami of Florida player. He was a #1 draft choice of the Cincinnati Bengals coming out of college. Moved here as a free agent, unrestricted free agent, and a very good acquisition he was.
Oh, excellent acquisition. And they've got him back there. He came in last year as an unrestricted free agent. They've got Benny Blades, who came in as an unrestricted free agent this year at the strong safety. They got Willie Williams at right corner, who was an unrestricted free agent this year from Pittsburgh, and Sean Springs, the left corner, their #1 draft pick. So that secondary of the Seahawks is a relatively, well, it's a new secondary, real new, relatively young, a lot of good athletes back there, and they're making some plays.
They've been doing that.
Broussard got a little shaken up on that play, and they took him out of the game.
Broussard now 6 rushing attempts for 138 yards. A long of 77 for a touchdown. A second long of 43 for a touchdown. And he has been the difference for Seattle so far, as here is a hard strike put on Brian Blades by cornerback Steve Jackson.
Well, they've got Steve Jackson. Now they got their dime defensive personnel in there because the Seahawks are coming out with 3 wideouts. And Steve Jackson plays that nickel position. He plays on that slot receiver, dropping off in the short zone, be on the right side of your screen. He's dropping off on the left side of your screen. He's dropping off in that short zone, comes up and makes a good, strong tackle. That's about all he can do. A good play by him.
Moon has thrown 23 completions and 36 attempts for 221 yards. No touchdowns and no interceptions. He's been sacked twice. McNair has thrown 2 interceptions along with the touchdown pass he threw to Eddie
Prior to
George.
the snap, number 71, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
In watching both of these teams on film this week, Don, one of the things I've been impressed with, you get a little false start there by number 71, the left tackle, Walter Jones. He moves right before the snap. But I was going to say, all 4 of their corners are physical players. Jackson and Lewis for the Oilers, and Springs and Williams for the Seahawks. They play good run defense. They're good tacklers.
And now they're going to play run defense as on 3rd down. The Seahawks go to Lamar Smith, holding to a 6-point lead in the 4th quarter. They keep the clock running, and they send their punting unit out as it looks like they're ready to play field position football if they can. Try to hold the lead.
Right. They need a good punt here, though. They don't want to get. They don't want to let the Tennessee Oilers get good field position, get in position to get a field goal or a touchdown. Got to get a good punt here out of Rick Tootin.
Mel Gray is the guy who can take it back the other way. One of the best. A high punt. Well hit by Tootin of the Seahawks. Mel Gray comes up on the ball of his 27. He's ahead across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Return of 9 yards. And we'll be back with 7:41 to go in the game.
In yet another torture test, we drained the oil from this car and added just this much Castrol Syntec. We then ran it over 100 miles per hour and waited and waited. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. And if a little Syntec can protect under these conditions, imagine what a full oil change can do. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. And now, try Castrol Syntec Power System, a new kind of fuel system treatment.
Sea turtles. They bury their eggs in some tropical beach. When the eggs hatch, the babies find their way to the water and across miles of ocean. Now, we also have this built-in sense of direction when we're in our own shells.
Karin, the car navigation system from Philips Magnavox. It shows exactly how to get to where you want to go.
Man has finally caught up with nature.
Are you for real? 17 cents a pencil, 5 cents, you hear me, mister? 89 cents for thumbtacks. Don't make me laugh. What do you think this is, the 80s? Give me a break.
She's tough. Tough as nails.
What are you, a comedian? I thought you'd see it my way.
Nice touch.
Act tough. It'll be our little secret how you get the best deals on office supplies. Get over 7,000 supplies at guaranteed low prices. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Now the working definition of office romance. Employees are encouraged to be social with each other.
Why don't you guys go on home?
But company policy's clear.
The closest we come to sex is the feeling you get in your stomach when you're on the express elevator.
Fred Savage in Working premieres after Third Rock, NBC Wednesday.
The NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com for all the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action, plus chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars. It's all at NFL.com. Right now it is Steve McNair handing off to Eddie George. And on first down, he takes it ahead for a gain of about 7 yards to make it 2nd and 3. Let's go back to Greg in New York.
All right, Don, in Indianapolis, the Colts looking for their first win of the season creep a little closer. Marshall Faulk from a yard out gets into the end zone, and with the extra point, the Colts now trail the Jets 13-10, coming up on 7.5 to play in regulation, Don.
The Colts with an extraordinary record against the Jets, Jim, over the last decade. They've really owned the Jets.
Yes, they have, but those Jets have got that thing turned around up there.
Looks like it as Eddie George turns it up and straight ahead, and on a 2nd down and long 3 play, big strong Eddie George, the Heisman Trophy winner from Ohio State.
You know, that's 2 plays in a row now. They've given it to George right up the middle, right over Matthews and Stepnowski, and running right at Salamua and Sam Adams. I really believe that Salamua and Sam Adams are getting a little bit tired.
Well, we were harking back what Jeff Fisher said. We think we can get him in the 4th quarter. Right now, the Oilers in white, down by 6. 6:25 to play in the game. McNair has been victimized twice on interceptions by the Seahawk defense. Back to Eddie George, nothing doing. Dean Wells, 95, the middle linebacker from Kentucky, makes the stop. As we look at some of the earlier finals today, Packers, had they lost to Tampa Bay, would have been 3 games behind in their own division, but they won.
That Tampa Bay bubble had to burst.
Biggest upset of the day, maybe of the season there, with the Giants beating Dallas. Pittsburgh was down, what was it, 24-3 or something in that game, came back to win.
Stewart had 3 touchdown passes and a long touchdown run in the 2nd half. Cordell Stewart for the Steelers.
That would be an upset if it holds up. The Chargers leading the Raiders at Oakland. Here is Eddie George breaking it. And big Eddie George, you don't hit him, he hits you. Busted all the way down to the 30-yard line.
He was giving some trash talk there to somebody. You got to tackle this guy. You got to tackle him. You got to, you know, sometimes you say, well, I got to go low on a guy like this. You can't go low. You got to tackle him high, and you got to wrap him up. He uses a nice straight arm right there on Jay Bellamy. Look at him lower his shoulder right there.
And Big Eddie, with that 22-yard run, Jim, has now gone over 100 yards for the day. He's rushed 25 times for 113 yards.
I think it'd be a shame if he didn't go over 100 yards every game.
Well, the last game he had only 29 because he didn't get the ball much. Hand off and an inside counter goes to Ronnie Harmon. And the Seahawks aren't buying that. Les Steckel, the offensive coordinator of Tennessee, an old friend of yours, Jim, talking about we're going to go to some gadget plays, as he called them, some trick plays.
Yeah, we saw a couple gadget plays with a little counter play that they just ran there. They ran earlier in the game. They ran the flea flicker play that Darrell Williams intercepted just a little bit ago. They also ran a fake reverse and a screen pass to Eddie George that was not complete.
Do these guys ever watch the game? They're always writing and reading. It's second down and 8. Eddie George taking on tacklers. He gets down to about the 25-yard line. Chad Brown stops him.
I think if I was Les Steckel, I'd forget the gadgets and give the ball to number 27, wouldn't you?
What are they looking at? Printouts of probabilities, or?
They're looking at, they do put in a lot of time during the week figuring out all these tendencies and what's going to work in situations, what kind of defense to expect, and that's what he's doing.
Watch the game, guys. You might like it.
They know what's going on, believe me.
Here's a big down. Third down, and the Oilers need 5. They trail by 6 in the fourth quarter. McNair throws in poorly. It was the blitz. They came on a cornerback blitz. He looked at Darrell Russell, but Willie Williams was coming off a corner at him, so Jeff Fisher getting some of his own medicine. He likes to blitz. This time his QB gets blitzed.
There's Willie Williams coming on a blitz. Nobody gets him. Winston Moss, number 55, was coming to the inside. That's Winston right there, and he was occupying Brad Hopkins, the left tackle. There was nobody to block Willie Williams. He came clean.
Now a 43-yard field goal attempt by El Del Greco. It's good. It would cut the Seahawks lead to 3. It's on the way, and it's right down the pipe. So Del Greco delivers the goods, and with 3:41 left to play in the game, the Oilers creep to within 3 points of the Seahawks. Tennessee kicks off when we come back.
Be a good time to talk about the Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
All right, take care of yourself and call us.
Everything okay?
Now he's going to France to study painting.
I thought he was into photography.
Well, now he wants to be Monet. Last year in iced tea business, now this. Now, why can't he find one thing and stick to it?
Well, he is your dad.
At Aetna Retirement Services, we not only help you build assets, but manage them as well. Build for retirement, manage for life.
Da, da, da. Da, da, da.
Engineered Volkswagen Golf. It fits your life, or your complete lack thereof. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern on the NFL on NBC, the Bills, the Patriots, Bruce Smith and Buffalo battle Bledsoe and first place New England, the Dolphins, the Jets, Marino and Miami face Neil O'Donnell and high-flying New York, or the Oilers and the Bengals. The NFL on NBC next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern.
Glad you could be with us, and haven't we got a good one going here in Seattle as the Seahawks lead is now cut to 3. What do you look for the rest of the way?
Well, I don't see much change by either team. I think that the Seahawks have got to make sure they hang on to the ball here. The key thing for them right here would be to move the ball down and use up the clock and take it right down to the end of the game. Don't let the Tennessee Oilers get the ball back.
Well, they're going to try to strip the ball. I know that. There's a disparity in turnovers as they have 2 interceptions, the Seahawk defense, and now coming hard with the ball on the return and out across the 25-yard line. And down to make the tackle there was Terry Killens, a linebacker.
One of the things that Jeff Fisher told us yesterday, he said the early part of this first couple of games, early part of the season, first couple of games, their coverage teams were not very good. In fact, Terry Killens, the player who made the tackle there, was in danger of losing a spot on the team. He said the last couple games they put more emphasis on their coverage units, doing a much better job, including Terry Killens, one of the linebackers who made the tackle there on the return.
He got Tyree Davis at the 26-yard line. Here's Warren Moon. He's not resting on a 3-point lead as he goes right to the quick out pattern. Fires the ball. And it is Mike Pritchard who makes the catch, good for a gain of almost 10 yards.
Well, this is just a quick out to Pritchard, and I think what you said here, I don't think that the Seahawks can get conservative here. They gotta keep throwing the ball. They got to keep running the football. They just can't go into a running mode right here. They got to throw the ball. That's what they're doing best. That's what Moon does best. They got to do that and move the ball down the field.
And they get an unexpected break in the action. No timeout charge, as that the throw to Pritchard was close enough to a first down that they have to measure. 3:11 left to play on the clock. But still, every time you put it up with a lead late in the game, you're living dangerously.
Yeah, you worry a little bit, but I really believe that with a guy like Warren Moon at quarterback, the experience he has and the number of times that he's been in these situations, you don't worry a whole lot about it. You gotta keep throwing the football. You can't get to a point where you're afraid to do it. You just can't do it. Otherwise, you don't make first downs. The Oilers get the ball back. They go down and win it or tie it, and you go into overtime. Do what you do best to keep the football.
So far today, Warren Moon has thrown the ball well. He has put it up 37 times, completed 24 for 230 yards. No interceptions. No touchdowns either. His counterpart, McNair of the Oilers, has been intercepted twice. He, though, has a touchdown pass. That marvelous play to Eddie George. Now Moon does well to hand the ball off as he almost tripped. Lamar Smith runs it, and on second and short, he gets a first down, and most importantly for the Seahawks at this point, he keeps the clock running.
You keep the clock running, you're improving your field position. The key play there, though, of course, was the first down play where they get 9 yards. Now you got 2nd and 1, you're going to make that. Now you get 4 more tries at it, use up more clock time.
The timeout situation, the Oilers have 2 timeouts left. The Seahawks, who at this point have no intention of stopping the clock, still have their full complement of 3 timeouts. 1st and 10. Another quick out as the ball is thrown to McKnight. He does well, stays in bounds. McKnight playing beautifully as Warren Moon at age 40, soon to be 41, still has that tight pop on his fastball. We look at how the Seahawks' upcoming games go. They've got a lot of stuff happening on the road after the bye week next week. They meet the Rams at St. Louis, then come in to play Oakland here. Then a series of 3 straight road games at Denver, San Diego, and New Orleans.
That's one of the reasons this was such a big win for them, Don, because they got 4 out of the next 5 on the road. If they win, yeah, if they win. They haven't got it yet, that's for sure.
Here is Lamar Smith running with the ball, working to stay in bounds, and the Oilers looking to knock him out of bounds, which they do. And they stop the clock with 2:09 to go, but the Seahawks drive on, get 4 new downs, and holding to a 3-point lead, they now have the ball positioned at the 45-yard line of the Tennessee Oilers.
I think it's important now that those receivers and running backs really make an effort to stay in bounds and use up the clock. Had he have stayed in bounds there, it would have cost him about 9 seconds, because you'd get the 2-minute warning here in 9 seconds. But those 9 seconds could be critical at the end.
Sure could. And overtime is not out of reach yet. If the Oilers can get a stop and kick a field goal. Here's a run. Knocked down as we get to the 2-minute warning is Lamar Smith. 2 minutes to play at Seattle, and the Seahawks lead by 3.
This is the sound of commitment. The planes, trucks, and people of UPS in action, giving you more on-time delivery options than anybody else. Whether it's same day, overnight, 2-day, 3-day, ground, international. In other words, whatever you need to move your business. Thanks. UPS, moving at the speed of business.
It's the way the sun helps things grow in their own time. It's the way bread begins as an ocean of wheat before rising in the oven. The way onions can make you cry. even when you're laughing. And it's the way we make over 1 million people their favorite sandwich every day, which, in case you're keeping track, is more sandwiches than the entire population of North Dakota. Subway. It's the way a sandwich should be.
Tonight, an experiment gone horribly wrong. On men behaving badly, Jamie's America's first lab cow.
What's in those pills? Bovine estrogen.
Uh-oh. Got milk? Then, Jenny's getting her tongue pierced. Hey, what could go wrong?
Very nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Men and Jen, NBC Tonight.
Coming up later on Dateline Sunday, the Montserrat volcano like you've never seen it before. One man's obsession brought him to the edge. He came back alive with eyewitness video of this spectacular eruption. When will it blow again? Later tonight on Dateline Sunday. A game of trends and a game of switching momentum in the first half. The visiting Tennessee Oilers, the underdog, build a 10-0 lead at halftime. And then the Seahawks came roaring back with 10 unanswered points in the third quarter to tie the game, and they have subsequently gone ahead 16-10 on a touchdown run, the second of the day by Broussard, but the extra point was botched. And then Del Greco kicked the field goal for Tennessee, and so now it is a 3-point game. Jeff Fisher's defense on the field looking to get the ball back.
Yeah, they need to get the ball back. This is a critical drive for both teams. Obviously, Seattle's trying to hang on to the football, and the Oilers want to get it back so they can get position to score some points.
Second down comes up. Warren Moon and the Seahawks need 10. Here's a throw and a catch, and staying in bounds very nicely. As the ball is thrown on the flat is Pritchard, who's played a terrific game. And as you know, Jim, he was playing with a banged-up knee.
Yeah, he's had a little burst of sack problem with his knee.
Timeout is called as Moon limps over to the sideline.
Got a taste for something new? Introducing Domino's new pesto crust pizza. Zesty pesto made from sweet basil, parsley, and savory garlic kneaded right into the dough. Baked, then brushed with pure olive oil and sprinkled with Romano cheese for a truly authentic flavor. New pesto crust pizza, only from Domino's. Get any large, not medium, any large one-topping pizza for $9.99 and a second one topping for $5.99.
Domino's, hot wow now.
On this play that the Oilers were coming with the blitz, and when they're coming with the blitz, if you're the corner covering man for man on the wide receiver, you've got to play a lot tighter than that. Anthony Dorsett was 10 yards off the ball right there. You got to get up and cover that guy. You got to get either in a press alignment or close to him and get all over him. You can't let him complete those little passes like that when they're blitzing. You're not going to have much time to throw anyway. You got to cover tighter as a defensive back.
So he gave him the cushion.
That's
he got the yards. Yeah,
that's a gimme.
But still, the Seahawks here, Jim, have to convert a third down. The ball positioned at the 39-yard line of Tennessee. Third down, and they need a long 4, almost 5. The Oilers in the white uniforms digging in, down by 3. 1:49 left to play in the game. So Warren Moon goes to. Here comes a blitz, and now there's penalty markers in before the snap of the ball. Was there motion early?
I believe that Warren Moon was audibilizing there.
Well start.
Yep, there was
offense.
motion early.
Prior to the snap, number 86, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Fourier, the tight end, moved.
I think Moon was audibilizing. Either he saw something he didn't like and wanted to get out of the play they had called in the huddle, or he saw something that he might have liked that he was trying to get to, but it caused some confusion, and Fourier moved before the snap. This is the time in situations like this where you got to keep your poise. You can't have dumb mistakes like offsides or critical penalties at this time.
Greg Davis just took the field goal for San Diego to help extend their lead over the Raiders. As now Warren Moon on third down and 10 throws the ball. Here's Lamar Smith diving. He has the first down, and he's down to the 27-yard line. So on 3rd and 7, the Seahawks, on what looked like a broken play, break the defense of Tennessee for a first down.
I really think that it was a screen. Now, it may have been a broken play. I think it was a screen, and I think Smith there, he's trying to sneak out. But he got in the way of the defensive lineman. The key there was that Moon kept his composure. He kept his composure, didn't panic, let Smith get out there open and then hit him with the ball.
He's been doing that for a lot of years. Keeping his composure.
You bet. And this is, such a critical time in the game. That was such a big play. Third down, they had to have the first down, or they give the ball back to the Oilers and give them a chance to win the ball game, and Moon comes up with the play.
Somewhat of a stunner at Oakland, where the Chargers now lead the Raiders 25-10. Following the game on most of these stations, a massive volcano erupts and one man risks everything to get it all on tape. It's on Dateline Sunday. Then it's Men Behaving Badly and Jenny, followed by tonight's movie 5 Desperate Hours. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows at their regularly scheduled times. The Oilers now out of timeouts, 1:34 to play, so they're powerless to stop the clock as the Seahawks will go into the prevent mode. Get the ball and down it, keep the clock running.
Well, for Dennis Erickson, this is the prettiest play in football, and for Jeff Fisher, it's the ugliest, because Dennis Erickson knows that they've won the football game. Jeff Fisher knows that they've lost it. It's a sinking feeling, a bad feeling by Jeff Fisher, and just a tremendous feeling for Dennis Erickson. I've been in both situations. I know how they feel.
Dennis Erickson said flatly, we have to win this game, and then Jeff Fisher backed it up, saying the same thing as his team in the throes of a 3-game losing streak, soon to extend to 4, as we are now with 1:06, 1:05 as the clock ticks down. We're going to be switching to the Jets-Colts game at Indianapolis immediately at the conclusion of this game, as the Seahawks, who had a heartbreaking loss, they really outplayed the Chiefs last week at Kansas City and missed a field goal and were beaten in overtime. Today they were behind and seemingly out of the game, down 10-0 at halftime. But Dennis Erickson congratulating his staff and players. They came back, roaring back in the third quarter on 2 spectacular plays by the young runner Steve Broussard. There he is, the player of the game. From 77 yards out, he scored. From 43 yards out, he scored. And now, as we're down to 20 seconds to play, it will be Seattle, the victor by a score of 16-10. 16-13.
This bye week for the Seahawks will feel a lot better after this win than had they have lost the game.
Now for Jim Moore, this is Don Crickey. Glad you could be with us. We're going to be switching to more NFL action on NBC as we go to Mike Green and James Lofton at Indianapolis.
I want to welcome those watching the Seattle-Tennessee game. Seahawks with a victory here. The Jets leading 16-10. Adrian Morrell tripped up right there. Colts were at the Jet 25-yard line and had a 4th and 2 as they tried to go in for the winning touchdown, but an incomplete pass, and the Jets get the football back. Colts called timeout, and they have 1 remaining. Parcells' team went out to a 13-0 lead at halftime. Looked fairly dominant in the first half. Colts were struggling, and Jim Harbaugh was knocked out of the game with an injury. Paul Justin came into the second half, and Justin was effective at times, bringing the Colts within 13-10. Jets then kicked a late field goal off a Pepper Johnson interception.
I think if the Colts leave this ball game at 0-5, they have a lot of question marks. They've spent a bye week trying to figure out what happened in the collapse against the Buffalo Bills. Now they'll spend another couple of sleepless nights trying to wonder what has happened to this ball club today, and become a tale of 2 cities or 2 quarterbacks. Neither one can get it done for the Colts today.
Morrell gets up to about the 33-yard line, and the Colts will use their final timeout with 53 seconds remaining. Jets, of course, get a first down. This one will be over. Morrell had a strong first half, but the Colt defense stiffened up in the second half and did an excellent job. Morrell's shaken up.
Yeah, I think Morrell is more fatigued than anything. You know, he had 40 carries last week and a lot of tough yards. Every time he turned around, there was somebody coming up to pop it. And the safeties played an excellent game. Belver was great today. Blackman was great today. 29 carries, 99 yards. In his mind, he'd like to get that extra yard, not only because they retained possession of the ball, but when you're trying to negotiate or you're trying to get to Hawaii, 100-yard ball games pay the freight.
He's had 3 of them this year. Third down down and 1. Jets get the first down here. This one's over. Morrell. And he looks very close. Mondarahi makes the tackle. And it looks very close. They're going to bring in a measurement with 39 seconds remaining. That stops the clock.
Seattle over Tennessee, 16-2.
And just short.
See, now Morrell, he didn't get his yard there. You know, you had to get the first down on 3rd and 1 to get that yard.
So Morrell with 99 and a half.
You know,
so a 4th and about a foot.
You know, it boils down to commitment. You run behind Jumbo Elliott, Kyle Brady, Fred Baxter. They line up Bennett and some other guys. They don't get the yard. Parcells is going to go for it here.
Are you surprised?
If you don't punt the ball away and you give it the first down, I think they just bark out at the line of scrimmage. And I think they're just calling their bluff right now. They're going to let the clock wind down, and then the punter is going to trot out on the field, because I see John Hudson, who snaps for this stuff, warming up. And he doesn't get in the game to run the football. He just gets in the game to snap.
And they'll call the timeout with 16 seconds remaining. Hudson, by the way, the long snapper. You asked Brian Hansen, the punter, why he had his best year in the pros last season. He'll point to Hudson, who is a very fast snap. Punters love it. He's the type that you can step into the punt. And you actually want a snapper who also plays offensive line. You don't want an offensive lineman who also snaps. And Hudson is a snapper.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time figuring out the decision here. I think if you talk to the special teams coach, Mike Swetman, he'd say, we can get it off. We have this great snapper. You've seen so many calamities in the kicking game with field goals at the end of ball games. You know, you get a guy too pumped up, and all of a sudden that ball goes flying over his head. Or do you take the safety here?
Certainly, as Parcells and O'Donnell chat, O'Donnell coming back out.
You know, I actually see with Trebek coming in the ball game. They have that formation where you put 2 tight ends, you line up Trebek back there, and Neil O'Donnell's going to run around and try and take a knee. Invariably, when the quarterback does this, there's a guy on the other side of the field who's pretty mad, takes a shot at O'Donnell.
That's what O'Donnell will throw it. And smart play by the Jets.
Now, this will have some interesting discussion here.
Well, that's a safety.
2 points. We will kick off from the 20.
I don't know.
That's considered a fumble.
That's a bit.
A backward pass is a fumble, and that's a fumble.
2 points for
so
Indianapolis.
they have another
2 points for
turnover,
Indianapolis. We'll kick off from the 20.
See, if I'm Neil O'Donnell, I let Glenn Foley run that play for me, because I don't want to be the culprit there.
So the safety of the 2 points. You see time remaining 10 seconds. Colts are out of timeouts.
The Colts found themselves in a similar situation 2 weeks ago against Buffalo. They had 9 seconds on the clock when they had gotten the ball back. The thing that you do here is you fair catch the ball. That preserves your time. Now, the question here is, does the clock start when the ball is kicked or when the return starts? I don't have my rule book manual with me. But I guess the scorekeepers will know what to do.
Sure. I think Parcells maybe would have wanted O'Donnell to run a few more seconds off before firing it in.
Yeah, but I also think that, you know, that Parcells has researched this pretty well, and possibly it does start when the receiver catches it. But if you fair catch this ball, no time runs off the clock.
The kickoff at the 20. Bailey, the 12. And Bailey runs right out of bounds at the 21 with 6 seconds remaining. Well, welcome those watching the Chargers beat the Raiders. 6 seconds remaining in this one as the Jets leading 16-12. Jets just deliberately took a safety, so the Colts will now have the football. They're out of timeout, 6 seconds left, and they have the ball at their own 21 as Paul Justin trots out for a...
You see Neil O'Donnell just trying to let time bleed off the clock. He throws it out of the end zone. You know, maybe that's 3 points. Maybe he should have turned around and drop kicked it. I think the only other thing that Neil could have done, he could have put more air on that ball and hung that thing up in the air a lot more.
Or run a little bit more.
Neil didn't want to run any more than he had to.
That was on a 4th and 1.
You know, you go for about a 15-yard play here. You try and get it out. They don't have anybody up there covered. Then you have one more shot where you can possibly throw the ball up to get it to the end zone.
Justin looks to the sideline, and he's short of Bailey. There is still 1 second remaining. Jets with a strong first half, led 13-0. Nothing. Justin fumbles the snap. This will be the final play. Justin just throws it up in the air. Intercepted by Aaron Glenn, and that will do it. Jets win their 3rd in a row. Bill Parcells' team now 4-2 on the season. He says the best thing in pro football is winning on the road. Colts, meanwhile, 0-5 and another long week ahead.
Freezing, it's quiet, but you get used to it. You grow to love it.
Snow Fox 2-1, this is Snow Fox base.
This is Snow Fox 2-1. Then a storm comes up, and I'm the one who's got to get us out of here. And I remember who gave me courage. This is for them. For my mom and dad, who never missed a game. For Drill Sergeant McCardle, who showed me what it takes to be a leader.
Visual contact, Sergeant.
And for myself, who became one.
Either, I say either. I say neither, you say neither. Either, either, neither, neither. Let's call the whole thing off. You like potato, I like potato. I like tomato, you like tomato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
Call everything off and go exploring in a Ford Explorer.
Row Double Z, where the real fans sit. My people, everything's better up here. The air's cleaner, beer is colder. It's like being up in the Rockies where Coors Light is frost brewed. It's the kind of place where a man needs a beer and a beer needs a man. And beer is the way beer is supposed to be when beer is really beer. These people are like my family. Well, maybe very distant cousins.
Once again, our final score from the RCA Dome, the Jets 16, the Colts 12. Tonight on Dateline Sunday, a massive volcano erupts and one man risks everything to get it all on tape. Then it's an all-new Men Behaving Badly and Jenny, followed by the NBC original action movie 5 Desperate Hours. That's all tonight on NBC. For James Lofton, Len Berman, and our entire crew, this is Mike Breen saying so long from Indianapolis. You've been watching the NFL on NBC, home of the Super Bowl.
The baseball playoffs and the World Series, the NBA, the Breeders' Cup, the National Football League, and the Super Bowl, and the 2000, 2002, and 2004 Olympic Games, all on America's sports leader, NBC.
Hi, I'm Roger Madison from Madison's Mattress Outlet Store. I still have hair, but by the end of this commercial, I'll be bald. Yes, we reached our sales goal and sold more Sealy and Spring Air mattresses than during any other month in our history. This sale was so successful that I'm not only losing my hair, but for a limited time, we're extending our best price reductions ever on Sealy Posturepedic and Spring Air back supporter mattresses. Thank you for your support.
Nice hand, Raj. I think.
The Ice Age is here. Catch the Steelheads October 11th and 12th in exhibition action against the Tacoma SaberCats. Then October 17th, it's opening night of the regular season against the San Diego Gulls. Get your free collector's pin from Bank of America. Get your tickets by calling 331-TIX, TIXS. Steelheads Hockey. Get your head in the game.
The call letters shown here are translator stations of KTVB, Idaho's News Channel 7. This is KTVB, Idaho's News Channel 7, Boise. This is KTVB. Live from Idaho's News Channel 7. Idaho's #1 news starts now.